so far at an eco, put some Vills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching, he's on XP. The cap is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though? I think
There's not enough
running out though.
Yeah.
Ethan Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up truck, being king here, and just even though
drag boxing the Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoman, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atomans are getting snared by oh my
Nagis
goodness.
are shredding this right now, and it doesn't look like he's got his
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on this fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed by the Dynamo. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his Ruskies. He has to come to melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungas, but you know, the Atontons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have a staff animation. And the Tontons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Muskets are a little behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixing. The Atotan's doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's a plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes on the Strelets.
Blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelets a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the Slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, the ESOCs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOCs are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. The ESOCs, all the ESOCs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. The ESOCs coming back from fair raid. Nah, bah GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean with the ESOCs. That's gonna be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Carolinians are gonna come out alive.
Maybe should be able to swing this water fight. It's so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have the chance to snipe him? Look at the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline with the gun.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! My brother was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye now pushing in, and is this the time?
All right, salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final match of the round of 8. 3 of the 4 finalists have been decided. It's Curterboy, Phoenix, and I think Hazza just won. What was it, a 4-0 sweep earlier today against King of Osmane? So now it is Ezad versus Frontline, ranked number 9 and number 20, respectively, on the ranked leaderboard. And I am joined here by Baron, who is running casting and production. Absolute legend. Baron, how you feeling, man?
Oh, feeling good. I did the production earlier in the Hazza versus King of Osmane series, and that was quite fun of a series to watch, kind of having Lionheart and Gigs casting for me. And now I'm going to try my hand at casting one of these semi-finals, or I guess the quarterfinals now. So very excited for this series. I think both players are extremely strong. And we should be looking at a pretty close series. Hopefully it won't be a 4-0 sweep again. I think we've had a couple of those in the round of 8 in the quarterfinals so far. But this one I have very, very high hopes for. Ezad, Frontline, both players that have performed very, very well in the past tournaments. I think Frontline actually won the last tournament. It was the H2 tourney. And Ezad, obviously, with a very, very strong history, in many of the past tournaments, including the biggest tournaments, I think, in the past couple of years. The Kings of the Old World tournament, he made it to the round of, I think the round of 8 or to the round of 4. I can't quite remember, but very good results from him there as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any predictions because a caster earlier today said that the series was going to be 50-50 and looked like an absolute fool. But I won't say names. So I'm just going to say I'm hoping for a full 7 games, or if not, a very, very close series. But I mean, yeah, you said it best. 2 incredibly good players. I mean, these guys are consistently in the top 50, if not the top 20. They've both, you know, I think they've like shared places. I think they've both been in front of each other and behind each other in ELO and on the leaderboard. So, yeah, I'm really hoping for an awesome set of games. And it looks like we already have our game 1 matchup on, what's the name of, do you know how to pronounce that map? Guianas,
I think.
Guianas?
I'm not
All right,
100% sure, so, but
yeah.
I think that sounds about right.
Well, it's going to be Japan versus Lakota either way. Ezad being helmed by Japan and Frontline being helmed by Lakota. And I was taking a look at their ratings and their kind of recent play history on the leaderboard. And like Ezad has been playing a lot of India and quite a bit of Japan, but he hasn't been as active on the ranked ladder as Frontline. Frontline has been playing a ton of civs. Like, you look at his history, and he hasn't really played 2 civs in a row for like the past 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of comes out cleaner, who comes out a little bit sharper with their micro, their macro, and all of that sort of stuff. But are we ready to dive into game 1?
Yeah, I think we
Awesome.
Let's not waste any time and just head right in there.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game 1 of the last series of the round of 8. Ezad versus Frontline on Guianas, or however you pronounce this map, in the south of the map, playing in the color blue. As Lakota, we have Frontline, who is against Ezad, who is in the top of the map, playing in the color red as Japan. Now, Japan versus Lakota, this is not a matchup I see a ton on the ranked ladder when I'm looking for games to cast. So I'm going to go to you, Baron. What do you think about this matchup?
I think this is known as a pretty hard matchup for Japan. We actually saw this on the exact same map, the exact same matchup. Earlier this week in Ketterboy series with Ungers. Ungers actually picked Lakota, which is one of his main civs, and Ketterboy played Japan. Also, I guess one of Ketterboy's main civilizations. But I think, despite it being better for Lakota because of their early pressure with a lot of infantry and also the ability to add cavalry earlier than Japan, Ketterboy managed to play it very well and take a pretty convincing victory. So it's certainly not as one-sided as you might think. So yeah, I think this should be a very exciting game. Also, like, notice on this map, the hunts are very, very spread out. It's a very wide map. And Japan maybe can sneak some shrines all over the place. But again, with these top players who have this map awareness, who have good scouting, it's much easier to deny shrines than it is at, I think, a lower level that I would normally play at, for example.
Yeah, absolutely said, or well said there. The one thing I'm wondering is, what is Frontline going to do with the tempo that he's probably going to get to decide? Because obviously, you know, Japan is one of those civilizations that usually likes to sit back, get their shrine boom going, send 5 shrines once, maybe even twice early on. And I wonder, is Frontline going to go for just kind of a standard, you know, age 2 infantry push with clubs and Citan bows? Is he going to go for axe riders? Is he going to go for something even more kind of Nilla, like early bow rider? Or is he just going to go for the FF? Hard to say, but I think Lakota early age 2 pressure would be the best thing against Japan, because Japan, you know, has historically always been weak against early aggression in age 2.
Yeah, I think Lakota has to play H2 here. It kind of looks like that from his deck as well. We can take a quick look at Frontline's deck. Lots of these infantry shipments. So you have the 7 Cetons, the 6 Club Warriors. You have the 2 Takalas. I mean, it's very standard kind of nowadays for Lakota to have a deck that looks like this. So I do think we'll be expecting some early pressure. Also that 700 coin, 600 coin. So I expect he'll try to age up after shipping 600 coin. And maybe at some point Great Hunter as well for that eco boost. But I think what's very interesting is I saw Ezad here shipping Mountain Warrior. If I remember correctly, Ketterboy did the same yesterday on this map, and it is quite nice. You have a lot of big treasures along the top trading post line and along the bottom trading post line here. And the Mountain Warrior can double the amount of resource in both XP and just food, gold, and wood that you get from treasures. And you can actually get a lot of value, maybe more than 300, 400 res just from that card, which is a kind of very nice for an Age 1 card. So it's good to see.
Yeah, it definitely outscales your standard 300 resource shipment. And Japan doesn't have that standard 3 Vil card. So you're not really missing out a ton by sending Mountain Warrior early on like you would if you were playing against, a standard European Civ. But what is Ezad going up with? What wonder does he have down?
Torii gates. I think that's just very standard. You need that early tempo, get that XP rolling, get that samurai, which is actually quite nice, I think, to kind of harass your opponent's FB even sometimes. He is aging at it's an okay time. It's not going to be up enough to do any kind of damage against an FB, especially one that is kind of, I mean, it's not as close as it can be, but it's pretty aggressive and on the side here.
Yeah.
I think he wants to secure this hunt on the right side.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going for that southern trading line as well. So having his military base next to his trading route is also something he might have in mind. But we do see the early war hut, and I'm guessing we're probably going to be seeing the 4 Axe Riders slam down as quickly as possible. No.
So he's already going for the stagecoach play, I think.
Oh, wow. 700 wood coming out for his first card. Yeah, that's really quick.
Yep, makes sense.
Now, he's going C10 bow. What is he going to follow it up with? He's already got another shipment waiting for him, ready to send. 5 C10s coming out. Yep, and yeah, now we're seeing the 4 Axe Riders. I like that adaptation here by Frontline, not going all in with the military right away, taking a moment, grabbing the stagecoach, and then following up. And I think because Japan is so slow in transitioning to Age 2, he's going to be able to get away with that and still put on some nice pressure.
Yeah, chat just mentioning that towards the end of that Age 1, Japan got a 240 coin treasure because there was a Jaguar Jaguar protected coin treasure for 120 coin, and Mountain Warrior gave him 240. And that is just incredible because I don't think that's even a treasure that you can generally get very easily, but because of the boost in their attack of these Japanese monks, now they were able to take down that treasure very easily and get that double. So now Frontline pushing in a little bit, getting a poke, sniping the samurai for free, which is good. Oh, trapping a Vil potentially. That's a Vil down very, very early, forcing an early Miniman call as well.
Yeah, that's a great trade there by Frontline. He's going to be getting a lot of cost effectiveness out of this early push. And it looks like those 4 Axe Riders are going to get out without taking hardly any damage from the Ashies. And even though the Ashies are fast, the Axe Riders are faster, running back towards... Oh, no, he definitely wants to get back to his war hut, or at least reinforce with his C10 bows. And it looks like he's got clubs on the map as well, possibly going to go and siege down some shrines while the bows and the cav push in. And this is looking really good by Frontline. That early trade was fantastic.
Yeah, and Ezad actually was forced to ship, I believe, 5 shrines first and then 5 Ashy second to hold that little bit of a timing. And those 5 Ashy, I mean, they almost had the right timing to pop here and get into melee against the Axe Riders. But Frontline, I think, recognized the Miniman pop very, very early and was able to get out of there. And here he's just taking these 5 club warriors, running them around the map, and sieging Japan's shrines. This is exactly what I mean in these top level games. They have this awareness, they have the scouting to know where the shrines are going up and to start denying them immediately with these 5 clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the other thing that is critical is that early pickoff of the villager. Japan is one of those civs that it's incredibly hard early game to get villagers just because they don't have to gather from hunts. They just gather on those cherry orchards. So picking up a Vil as well this early, also a great move there by Frontline. And it looks like he's going to pick up these Ashies. He's caught them out in the open. And 10 Ashies probably going to go down here. Another great trade for Lakota, though we do have 5 Ashies reinforcing.
Yeah, but see, the one great thing about Setons, they don't have the greatest firing animation, but they can pick and choose fights against Ashy because they have the same speed. A lot of these H2 bows, for example, crossbows, you have to make sure that you maintain a mass of crossbows that is larger than your opponent's Ashigaru mass. hopefully comfortably larger. Otherwise, the Ashies can just sometimes take a great fight and rush in when you're not paying as much attention and just clean you up entirely.
Yeah. Love Frontline's patience here as well. He's not rushing in under the TC. He's just picking off the vulnerable buildings. And with Japan, there's going to be so many available shrines on the map at all costs because they need to build them, and they need to build them across the map. They can't just build them all in the back of their base. And so I love that he's just taking these easy takes here at the start of the game.
Yeah, so now Japan is on the Japanese isolationist consulate.
Ooh, Daimyo coming out. Early Daimyo, but there's so many C-Tanbos. Look at that clump of archers. It's starting, like you said earlier, Baron, it's starting to reach that mass where the Ashies really can't push in and take a favorable engagement. And now the amount of clubs is starting to rise as well. So there's going to be a lot of siege potential in this army, and the War Chief is still buffing them as well. And things are looking a little bit dicey here for Japan early game. He's going to lose his consulate. His shrine boom has been hampered quite a bit. The entire north of the map has basically been cut off. So what does Japan do from here?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great understanding of timings from Ezad here. I mean, sorry, from Frontline here. Just when Ezad is adding a stable, shipping that daimyo so that he can add more cavalry, he is now adding a massive club warriors. You'll notice that his first 3 or 4 batches were pure C-Tanbos. And he wants that to maintain this range advantage against the Ashigaru. They do counter them, but they don't hard counter them in the sense that you can kind of just kite them forever and never lose any Citons.
And
so
look at the macro here,
very
Baron.
important.
Look at the macro. He's definitely looking like he's going to transition this into a transition into H3, which I think is just going to be so great. He's going to be able to trade out those C-Tans. He's going to be able to upgrade his cavalry, possibly maybe even get out some Takala soldiers or at least some Wakina rifles. And I love the pressure, and I love the moment that he's choosing to get into H3, because I think he's done enough damage in H2 that he can warrant making that transition here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Japan's shrine pop is really not looking that hot, considering they shipped 5 shrine wagons as their first H2 card, just 100. So I think maybe 4 shrines were sieged down at one point or another. But now Ezad, I think recognizing that Frontline is kind of pulling back, so maybe a little bit suspicious that he's aging up and is deciding to take a little bit of a fight, maybe pressuring this FB while Frontline is macroing to age, as you mentioned. Yeah.
And that is the right move, right? I mean, the only hope he has of really getting back into this game and reasserting map control is to get some fight before Frontline gets into H3 and starts mixing in some of those higher tech units here. And I mean, the mass from Japan is looking pretty scary. Ashies are a good musketeer. He's got some Yumis and the daimyo, and it looks like he has some Naginatas in the back that could be coming in. But H3 is going to be arriving so quick. He did go with the quick age up, did Frontline, and now he's already in H3. Japan needs a fight here, and it needs to go well in order for him to get back into this game.
Yeah, the issue is these are all very speedy units. Under the Lakota War Chief, they have 5 speed, almost 5 speed. So they just run away from everything. They're even outrunning these cavalry a little bit. Okay, the club's getting pulled back a little bit just to deter the cavalry, while the C-Tans can just kind of get out of there with a nice pull tricking the clubs, getting out of there. He just needs to not be cleaned up here, wait for his first shipments in H3. And now he is making these rifle riders, which will deal very, very well against this Musk-Huss composition from Japan.
Yeah, and he's doing exactly what these Age 2 units are supposed to do, which is buy time. Obviously, if both players get into H3, they're going to start becoming more and more obsolete. So just buying time, allowing... nice catch, and the Rifle Riders are going to be able to possibly drag down that one last Naginata. Definitely going to get 2. That was a great catch there by Frontline, and it looks like now the push is going back the other way. And this infantry ball, it is scary, but it's not going to be enough. There are still plenty of C-Tanbos, a few club warriors to body block, and like you said, those rifle riders going to do well, especially against the Naginata, but even against the H2 Ashigarus. But it looks like he's going straight for the coin mine. Could possibly pick up a Vil kill here. Nope, looks like he's going to pull back just in time.
Yeah, I mean, what can Japan even make here against just rifle riders and then adding some hand cav later on? Because this composition will just be demolished by basically a monocomp of rifle riders. So he has.
Well, what is Japan's macro right now? What is his macro right now? Is he transitioning? No, wow. No, he is. Okay. He's halfway up with the Golden Pavilion. Resource count is very low right now, so this army, it's not going to be getting any bigger. He's got max villagers on the shrine, or excuse me, the Wonder, but he's going to lose this stable. And there's still, I mean, look how many club warriors are in this army. There's still a lot of siege damage here, and by the time he gets into age 3, he could lose a significant amount of his infrastructure.
I mean, age 3 Japan maybe does have the tools to deal with Rifle Rider, Axe Rider, but I think this is definitely the way to go. I mean, you cannot stay in age 2. I feel like, I mean, just Rifle Riders dealing with Ashley and Nagy, and then Handcap going in just with those Axe Riders going in after will just clean up any UV mess. So yeah, he probably definitely needs age 3 here.
Yeah. The chat also mentioning the possibility of, oh my god, look at the reinforcing Rifle Riders. They might be able to take down that Daimyo, but now, I mean, the Lakota army is reaching such a critical mass, and that War Chief is still in the middle of it, still at good health. He's going to be able to buff all of these units. These cavalry are so fast, and the infantry are just as fast. Well, not quite, but they're still very speedy. But, oh god, Bill pull here. It looks like this might be Japan's last push.
I don't think it's quite over. I mean, a Vilpool is a bit scary. Japan's units obviously very, very good. Frontline there was very tempted to kind of just right-click there because he saw him age up. He knows this is all he's going to have for the next 40 seconds or so before the first age 3 shipment from Japan comes in, because he just sieged his stable as well. So nothing can really come out except maybe an Ashy Batch from the barracks. But that Vilpool, I think, kind of deterred Frontline. He didn't want to lose those expensive Rifle Riders before he's fully ready to commit. And now he's just going to go around the map again, look for any straggling explorer trying to sneak shrines all around the map, and then maybe siege some of these shrines himself. So
yeah, I think you said, I mean, that was well said. Japan's not totally dead here. The thing that I think might be the nail in the coffin is if Frontline gets out a decent mass of Wakinas to complement the big mass of Rifle Riders he's already got and then pushes in, I'm going to feel really worried about Japan's chances here. And I love that he's still sending club warriors around the map, just trying to find out where some, you know, extra shrines might be. But yeah, the chat is saying that Japan is looking to be in a rough spot. Are those Yamabushis coming out?
Yabusame?
Or Yabusame, yeah, not Yamabushi.
Those are
Yabusame.
Yeah. I always get those mixed up as well. But he definitely needs just a couple of these Yabusames, I think, because you do need goons to deal with Axe Rider and Rifle Rider, which I believe Frontline will add at some point. Yes, right now he has mostly Rifle Rider, but he will have to add some Axe Riders, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look at these. They're trading very, very well against these Rifle Riders, even though they're outmassed by so much. However, as you mentioned, right, Frontline just needs enough Wakina, I think, to be able to one-shot these Yabusames. These Yabusames are very, very tanky boys. They have 45% Rangers. It's the highest, I believe, of any goon type unit, and they have a long range, 18 range. So you do need a decent mass of these Wakina rifles. However, I think the win condition is just a massive cavalry here. Many Axe Riders, followed by his existing Rifle Rider mass.
Yeah, and one thing in Ezad's favor is that, you know, out of all the light infantry you could be making, Wakinas are probably some of the worst in the game. So they're not as scary as, say, regular veteran skirms or forest prowlers or even Italian skirmishers in H4. These guys are pretty paper thin, not the most effective. But, I mean, against Ashies and, Yabusame, they're still going to be quite good.
Yeah, just being so annoying with just a couple club warriors just gradually sieging down the shrines on the top side of the map now. I mean,
hold on a second, Bear. I could have sworn I saw Ezad make some shinobi.
Yeah, I think he had a couple from age 2. They do shadow tech as well, so very, very good units.
Yeah. But yeah, you were saying about the club warriors, he is being incredibly pesky with them, and that is something, you know, lower level players can tend to forget as it gets into the late game. They kind of stop harassing those shrines, but the more consistently you do it, the more you're going to be able to kind of keep Japan at bay. And yeah, I mean, if we look at Japan's army right now, as opposed to where Japan would normally want to be in age 3 at this point, it's looking pretty lackluster in terms of his army.
This is a strong composition, though. I mean, Ashies, you should never underestimate them. Look at them. They're basically a guard musk now in terms of attack and HP. Not quite as much HP as a guard musk, but I think a little bit more attack. So they're very, very strong units. These shinobi,
Has he sent
look at them
any?
go.
Has he sent any upgrades as well? Can we take a look at his deck and just check what he sent?
So he hasn't sent Ashy attack yet. I don't think so.
No.
So far. So what is he?
And
what
then
is
can
he
we take a
shipped
look
to
at
H3?
I think he sent. Well, he definitely sent 2 flaming arrows. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
It's so hard with these double shipment decks
I think that's all I
because
see. 'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
The rest of them. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at Frontline, as you said.
and some Takalas here for Frontline would also just be, I mean, absolutely fantastic. If you went for the I think it's the 2000 food that just gives you a ton of Takala pop. Oh yeah, the Lakota soldiers. That can be such a game changer, especially if they pop out at a war hut or something when Japan isn't expecting it. But looks like he's quite a ways off from purchasing that. And just continuing to harass the shrine economy, continuing to be a thorn in Ezad's side. And yeah, Ezad's, kind of starting to run out of room on the map here. Meanwhile, Frontline has expanded. He's had that stagecoach TP for a very, very long time. And he's still looking to be in a strong position. Though the scores are closer than one might expect, actually. Japan, I don't know. Maybe Japan is kind of back in this game. He survived the H2 pressure. He's in H3. He's got his upgrades for his most important units. I don't know. Maybe there's hope.
Yeah, I think Frontline is aiming for this 21-minute timing, where he's going to get this extra Takala soldier as well. So around 21 minutes, he's going to have 7 of these. And he's shipped cavalry combat. He has this big mass. And those Takala soldiers are very, very tanky. So even against Ashy fire, they will live for a while. I mean, Ashy and Yabusame archer fire.
Well, and you could send an additional 3 as well, because I think I saw he had the 3 Takalas. He just hasn't sent them yet. Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
do.
he could have up to 10, which would be insane.
I'm not sure this is the best value shipment right now. Maybe you'd rather ship Axe Riders, but yeah, that's totally an option. Just having those 7 to tank, and then you have a big massive Axe Riders to just DPS, because they do have very, very high attack. Look at this.
Yeah. My only concern is, with how much anti-cab Japan has, I feel like if you just run those Axe Riders in, are you going to get a worthwhile trade? There's a lot of Ashies. Like you said, they're very upgraded. You got a lot of Nagis body blocking, and you still probably have a couple of those Yabusame. And here come the Takala soldiers. It looks like this is the fight that Frontline wants. He's charging in, both sides getting engaged now. And look at that, the Takala soldiers going right around to the rear. More Ashis coming in. The Daimyo making units in the back, but these Axe Riders are just holding out on the front line. I'm seeing a lot of plus blues here. A lot of infantry going down for Japan. The Wakina's doing great DPS in the back. It looks like all of the Yabusame are going down, and I don't see any more Japanese cavalry, and this looks like it's going to be a clean sweep for Lakota. It did cost him most of his heavy cav, but I think he's going to take that trade any day of the week.
Yeah, the heavy cav just have to body block for long enough and do damage on the front line. I mean, these rifle riders were just melting those Ashies. Just absolutely destroying them. I saw like plus 12s going up all over the place. But yeah, so I think that was exactly what I mentioned, the timing with the Lakotas, with the Takala soldiers. And he actually, I think, went a little bit early, so 20 minutes instead of 21 minutes. He realized that his FB was getting pushed, and he wanted the Takalas to come from the FB, so he missed out on that extra Takala that would have come in at the 21-minute mark. But, I mean, we saw that fight definitely went for Frontline there, so nothing to complain about there.
Yeah, you called that well. I mean, the timing on that was almost exactly like we predicted. And, I mean, just look at the remnants of the Japanese army. There is not nearly enough units here to try to, even resist. These rifle riders are kind of in the back sieging the wall when they probably maybe could just go in and go straight for the heart of the economy. But, yeah, I mean, unless Japan gets out some sort of crazy fight here or crazy pop of units, nope, looks like Ezad is going to call it there. And the first game going to Frontline, who is, I will remind everybody, the lower ranked player in this matchup. He is ranked 20 as of today, and Ezad is ranked 9. But, I mean, pulling out a great game with Lakota in what I think we can admit is a pretty slanted matchup in his favor. But still, he played it exactly like he should.
Yeah, totally. I mean, just look at this. Frontline somehow managed to sneak in 3 TCs. I saw him build a second TC, and I was like, wow, that's a bit greedy from him right now. Because obviously you don't really want to give Japan the time to scale, because Japan is one of the best scaling civs in terms of how well their military units perform in the late game.
Yeah.
However, He is adding actually not just a second TC on the right side of the map, but a third one near his FB. So, I mean, even if this game dragged out, maybe Frontline would have been up economically. 72 villagers at the end against 54. If we just take a quick look at the our resource gathered, Frontline actually edging out Japan. And this is just very rare to see. That early stagecoach, I think, was a good boost on his eco. That second TC, I'm not sure if he actually ever shipped Great Hunters, but let's take a quick look. No, he actually never shipped Great Hunters. However, still, he managed to outscale Japan in both military and economy, and that is just very good to see from Frontline.
Yeah, very well played all around. But that is game one, ladies and gentlemen, of our best of 7 going to Frontline. We are going to dive into game 2 as quickly as possible. That one is going to be on Saguenay, which I would argue is a very different map than Guianas. We do have water potential. I think the natives on Sag are definitely much more useful, especially the Cree. And of course, you have the middle trading post instead of, 2 separate ends. So we could see a lot more, contention in the middle of the map, depending on what civs these guys pick. Zarin Beer just raided. Thank you very much, Zarin Beer, with a party of 4. We appreciate that. Welcome, guys, to the round of 8, the last matchup, Ezad versus Frontline. And now we're just waiting to see what civs are going to come out next. I'm kind of wondering when Ezad is going to pull the trigger and queue up India. I don't know if Saguenay would be a good map or if he wants to save that for later, but he's been playing a ton of India recently.
Yeah, I think it's coming in now. Frontline picking the Hodenosaunee and Ezad picking the Portuguese. So
water.
Yes.
We're going to see it. Calling it now. We're going to see water.
I think, yeah, I definitely agree. So here, who picked first, right? So Frontline picked first with Haud, and I think Ezad picked Port, maybe as a counter. So I do believe Port does decently well. They can contest water and they can outscale. So it's very, very hard with their TC booms as well. So I believe they're starting now. So we should be good to hop in.
Cool.
Let's actually see if I have a map video for you guys real quick.
Ooh, special treat.
Summer or winter, the legendary land of Saguenay offers diverse opportunities. Constructing defenses on the islands in the sea and on the coast will help control the ocean. But do not ignore the land. Here, you'll find a trade route that can take variable positions, but will always cross the map through its center, while the Cree settlements can form a strong economic option.
All right, they're just starting up the lobby, so we're gonna be there in about 1 or 2 minutes. But let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Port versus Haud. I honestly don't play either of these civilizations. In general, I haven't experimented too much with the Warchief civs, and I think just on the ladder right now, other than Aztec, they aren't super popular, especially Hodenosaunee. So, yeah,
which is kind of interesting because, I mean, if you know your AoE3 history and if you go back to the ESOC patch, Hodenosaunee, I mean, they're still a good civ. Like, I wouldn't put them anywhere below low A, high B tier. But during, like the 2016, 2017, 2018 era, these guys were banned from most tournaments, and they were definitively the best civ in the game. Them and Auto, which, shocker, were always banned. And it was mainly because they just had such a strong Age 2. They had such a good early aggression, and they could get out so many cost-effective units. Of course, Aena being extremely cheap and very, very good for their price. You have Tomahawks, you have the 4 Kanya Horsemen, which, because they're mostly a wood costing unit, sending them in Age 2 is one of the best cards you can send in terms of cavalry. And now I kind of think we're seeing more of a shift from just Age 2 aggression. Of course, we do see some people play a more Age 3, even Age 4 based Hodenosaunee, because their units do tend to scale really, really well. They're musket riders, of course, forest prowlers, one of the best skirms in the game, and the light cannon, which I think is probably, if not one of the top, the best artillery in the game, because it's one of the only artilleries that can actually kite like infantry. Just incredibly good. But whether we see early aggression or maybe an FF or maybe even a boom, we'll have to see against Port. I would imagine we'd see some sort of aggression to try to limit Port's economic potential, but we'll just have to see.
All right, the lobby is loaded, so we're gonna head right in.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second map. This is Saguenay, and on the western half of the map, playing in the color red as the Portuguese, we have Ezad, who is currently down 0-1 to the player on the eastern half of the map, playing in the color blue as the Hodenosaunee. It is Frontline, and I think we already see a dock from Frontline at the 30-second mark already coming out. And I wonder, is that just going to be for a small economic boost with a couple of fishing boats? Or is he going to actually try to contend against Port? Now, we do know the War Chief civilizations, they have the War Canoe, which against larger ships, it's actually an incredibly good unit because warships actually tend to waste a lot of their damage shooting at the canoes just because they have more HP so that you can't kill them in one shot, but by the time you shoot them twice, you've wasted so much potential damage. So they're actually really, really good against those larger boats. But we'll have to see what Frontline does if he just goes for a more land-based player or does try to contest water against Ezad. We'll have to take a look at their desks when they become available. But Baron, what else are you seeing on this map so far?
So I think the Crees natives are often utilized a lot in this kind of on this map. I mean, getting 5 of these Cree CDBs is basically like 6 villagers, so you're basically on 2 town centers very, very early on in the game for about 3 or 4 minutes, which is a very nice economic boost as well. I don't think either of these civs are known for going natives very often, but I think it's always worth it to pick this up at some point in the game, just for that eco advantage. Also, the way that this map spawned this time was that you have the stagecoach line in the middle. So map control will be somewhat important if anybody would like to secure this TP line. And I mean, Frontline here, as Hodenosaunee, does have the tools to kind of exert early map control. And I don't think in this matchup, Ports goes for a very, very aggressive TC because that can often be the target of H2 aggression.
Yeah.
So I doubt Ezad will be putting his second TC all the way up here. Potentially, he can put it up near the coast, maybe up here to secure this hunt and this mine, or maybe if he's a bit riskier up here, because a TC, I mean, with the anti-ship attack is often pretty useful as an additional bonus to defend against any type of water play from the opponents. But if we look now, Frontline has already made 3 boats, and he's aging up at a very, very nice time at 245. And if we look at his deck, this is a pretty water-focused deck. He has that 3 Buccaneers in H2, and he has Fish Market. So what do you
could also call exotic hardwoods. I mean, if you could lump exotic hardwoods in with his water deck just because it's an amazing wood gathering upgrade early in the game. I like what you said about the town center placement. I would almost prefer for Ezad to go maybe a little bit farther forward on the coast, because I feel like you might want to try at least to contest the trading line. I think if you just sit back and rely on water and you give Hodenosaunee not only the Cree if he decides to go for it, but all 3 trading posts with Stagecoach, I feel like that's going to outscale your water play in the early game, and you might not even get the chance to get to the late game where water can be super, super strong. But look at this. The War Canoes are already coming out here, and it really looks like Frontline is investing quite a bit into denying the water play, which could throw Ezad off, but now Ezad is in H2, and I'm actually really surprised by that TC placement. I thought for sure he was going to try to get it on the coast, try to protect his fishing boats, because we know TC's excellent at protecting water. They have a great ranged attack, but what has he sent so far in his deck?
Schooners and then 700 wood. So he is also going for this little bit of a water boom, I believe. Okay, now Fort Kanya coming out from the war hut. And so, as we mentioned, I mean, Frontline here putting his war hut on the coast. which is also a very, very good way of securing an advantage on the water. And because this TC went down so safely in his base, this is probably going to give Frontline a little bit of an advantage in any kind of water contest. On the other hand, I think I might disagree a little bit. I think Ezad didn't really have a choice. This was, he didn't know exactly what we know, right? That Frontline had, oh, a Vil going down here.
Nice catch there by
This guard mode
Frontline.
is so strong in trapping villagers. I mean, not taking basically any damage. He's just in and out, taking a Vil for free. That's just great, great, great value. But yeah, as I was saying, I think Frontline here, sorry, Ezad did not really know exactly what Frontline was doing. So going more aggressive with this TC is always dangerous against, I think, Howd, because they do have these pretty decent siege units, Tomahawks, Kanya early on, and they can really, really put a lot of pressure. But this stock looks like it's about to go down.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I wonder, you know, would it have been worth the risk? Because now you're not only losing the dock, which is 200 wood, you're not only losing the fishing boats with even their discounted price. I mean, you're still losing probably over 100, 150 wood there, but you're also losing that early age 1 card. And if you never go back to the water, that Schooners is going to feel really, really wasted. And so, you know, when you could have sent something like Fatorius instead, I wonder if contesting the water would have been the better call there. He doesn't even have Fatorius in his deck, interestingly. And it looks like he's going for a bottom trading post as well. And look at that dock placement on the lone island. I wouldn't be surprised if he like tries to put up an outpost right behind that thing. So it doesn't look like he's going to be totally giving up on water. But yeah, like you said, a great catch there by Frontline getting that early villager. But the 2 caravels are out, and in small numbers, the canoes cannot resist. But you add 4 or 5 more canoes in, and just their damage output compared to how much damage they take, they will do very, very well against those caravels. But Tomahawks and Kanya still pushing in. Nice job by Ezad. He does not want to get caught out again. He's done a nice job hurting here as well. And yeah, I just kind of want to see what Ezad decides to do. Is he going to invest in the TPs? Is he going to try to gather even more potential on water? Is he going to make military units at some point? We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, so far there's 0 military buildings out for Portuguese. All they have is this dock up here, and he's trained, I think, 1 caravel and shipped the 2. So he does have this advantage right now, temporarily, on the water. However, as you mentioned, a lot of boats now coming out for Frontline, and with this dock for supporting fire and this war hut, that is a difference maker. You cannot push all of that with just 3 of these caravels. In fact, I don't think he'll ever really be able to push into this unless he goes maybe H3, has a frigate, and also has an army on the land so that he can do kind of a 2-pronged attack. Again, pushing in here at a good time. Did he pick up a Vil? I might have missed something.
I'm not sure, but he has added at least 5 or 6 more Tomahawks to his mass here. And I wonder if he spotted that trading post. He probably hasn't seen it yet, or he would just beeline to it and take that out. That would be, oh no, I think that's where his Tomahawks are going. That's going to be a really easy take for him. Oh no, he doesn't see it. Okay.
Well, but he does know that he has a trading post, so.
Yep.
And then it's got to be one of these 2, so he's probably just checking now.
Yep. I always forget that you can see your opponent's amount of trading posts. I think that's a feature that just a lot of people don't know about because it's such a small icon and it's not really obvious what it is. Kanya's still being so annoying in the back of the map, but Ezad's playstyle right now, I don't know how many older players you're familiar with, but there was a player back in the ESOC days named Boneng, and he did this sort of play all the time, like multiple docks on the water. Guy didn't make a military unit till like 13 minutes in the game. I don't think Ezad's going that all in, but he's certainly more focused on the water than he is on the land. I mean, it just seems like on the land, he's just trying to protect the villagers he has. Looks like he's trying to get up to age 3, maybe even send a frigate and make a final push on this water here.
Yeah, I did recall seeing him ship 700 coin, and there we go. He's going up with the exiled prince. So he's aging up fast. We'll have a shipment ready at that point. He does have Portuguese white fleets, but only 1 dock so far. And both 3 caravels and 1 frigate. So a lot of very heavy investments on the water, potentially.
Yeah, but he can't push in with these. He can't push in with these 3 caravels. It's just not enough, especially with the war hut you know, adding supplementary fire. But I'm wondering, where did that massive Tomahawks go off to? Did they take out that trading post? It looks like they did.
Took out the trading post on the bottom, and now they're just coming back. I think on the land, all Frontline is trying to do is to contain Port a little bit. Prevents their third TC from maybe taking a very aggressive position. So yeah, it's going back up
But it's
now.
going to make it. I think it's going to get to the dock. No, it's going to go down just a little ways before it reaches the coast. But it is going to secure a hunt and a coin mine, so it's still being useful. But now the push coming in, 10 Tomahawks, and still 2 Kanya left. Nope, looks like one finally going down. But yeah, double TC fire. It can be so hard to push into. And we have to remember that Ezad does have all of his Minutemen pops, so I don't think he's in any significant danger yet. And he's gotten into H3 safely, and with a couple of cards, he's going to have a significant advantage on water and might be able to finally seal the deal.
Yep, frigate coming in, and with the frigate, I think yes, this is his
Oh my
timing.
God.
He wants to now take this fight, killing. Oh my gosh, using that ability.
Just absolutely wasted that canoe.
That was like shooting an entire arsenal at just one boat. But a lot of
my
canoes
God.
popping out. It's not going to be enough. Oh, the area of effect turning
Nice.
2 of those canoes. I guess overturning 2 of those canoes in the water, and one of the caravels being sent back to get healed now, I believe. And this frigate should be able to take down this dock, no problem.
Oh, I just realized, look at how many villagers he's got hunting on the coast here, too. So not only will he lose this dock and this war hut, possibly, but he's also going to have to move all of these villagers here, and that's going to be a long walk to get them onto their next hunt. This frigate, it can do so much offshore damage, and yeah, this is a really nice take here for Ezad. And I'm almost wondering, has Frontline been too passive here after that initial push? Has he kind of just allowed Ezad to coast and rebuild his economy and take back water here, or I mean, was that going to happen either way?
I'm not sure how you push into 2 TCs like this.
Yeah.
Threat of both Minutemen pops. The general game plan is to just contain on the land, prevent them from accessing their hunts. Because if this were a land-only map and this hunt maybe wasn't here, they would be a port would be running out of res right now. However, getting that sneaky dock.
Oh, he's got a second frigate. Holy crap!
He does. Frontline does see that, but getting that sneaky dock on that island is just so good. And another issue here is that Frontline does not have any shipments of any water shipments in H3. So I mean, it'll be very hard for him to have that timing to take back the water. Port now adding a second and third dock, so we might be expecting Portuguese White Fleet coming in anytime soon. Oh, he already sent it. He already sent it. He's
Really?
coming in.
I mean, is he? No. Wow. Okay, so he sent it early. That's interesting. So we got 4 fishing boats. That feels kind of. Well, no, because he had the dock on the island, and then
Eight, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so we got 8. It's not quite as ineffective as I thought. Another war hut coming down, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I think, oh god, I think Hodenosaunee has officially lost water here, but maybe it doesn't matter because we have to remember Portuguese. It's near the 13-minute mark, and he has still not made a military unit.
Oh, he made just now his first batch of Cassidores.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's getting in there. 4 military
right.
pop at 13 minutes. I think that's very respectable. No, I'm just, I'm just joking. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, people in the chat are saying that this is an overcommit by Frontline on the water, and that second war hut was maybe just a bit futile. I mean, I don't know. He invested quite a bit into those canoes and those fishing boats, so he obviously wanted to try to hold on to it. But maybe he was fighting too hard for it when he should have focused more on the land. But that is a lot of forest prowlers coming down the map, along with Tanya reinforcements. And do we have veteran Tomahawk yet? Or not veteran Tomahawk? It would be what would it be? Disciplined?
elite.
Honored?
Elite,
I can't remember.
elite.
Elite. Yeah. Yeah. And one thing to point out, Frontline also did get down the Cree settlement as well. I'm sure he already has all of the villagers at this point, but just wanted to mark that out for his economy as well.
Just started making those.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
so
a couple of vills getting caught here on the bottom of the map. That's 5 vills going down. I mean, there's no land military units, so
yeah, there's no hope.
Ezad just has to sack these vills.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the score, Baron. He's got a 4,000 score gap, and the water is starting to get a bit out of hand here. So 5 vills, whatever. As one great player just said, all vills do is take up population space. Do we really need them?
Who said
Not when you
this?
got this many fishing boats. I can't remember. It was an old player who he just
see.
revolted all the time, so he never valued Vills ever.
Wow. Sounds a bit like another creator we know nowadays, but
Yeah,
that's pretty
maybe,
cool.
possibly. I don't know how poor Old just pushed though. I'm wondering what Ezad does when this army tumbles into his base. He has 4 Castadors,
Yeah,
and oh god.
I'm a little bit confused here because he has no res, right? He's still making boats. The fish are about to dry out, I think, in the next maybe 5 or 6 minutes. And Frontline kind of knows that there's a moment of weakness here where he just shipped organs but has literally
Oh, and
nothing
he's gonna
to
catch
protect
those
them.
organs for free. Those Minutemen gotta pop out, but I still don't think they'll be saved. And the chat mentioning that Ezad lost one of his frigates as well. So that's a huge win for Frontline on the water, though. Oh, come on, gun, get to the boat,
it's
get to
not
the
gonna
boat,
get
get to the
there.
boat.
It takes the
Oh, it's
time
the
for him to
Portuguese
load.
Dunkirk.
Wait.
Yeah, he's gonna make it. He's
He
gonna
could
make
totally
it.
have gone for it, I think, but I guess
totally
just to
could
be
have.
safe. Because it takes
I mean, those frigates.
load on now, right? For artillery.
Yeah, but the bombard from those frigates, it is pretty respectable. It's like getting shot at by a falconet that is way higher in HP and unkillable from the land.
Oh, look at the score difference. It's completely equalized.
Yeah.
So this game, yeah, I don't know. There was no military out.
He's got 78 villagers though, Baron. Like, villagers don't matter. No Vills NP. Keep calm, make fishing boats, send 8 halbs, and if these 8 halbs pop out, they could get a great catch on the Kanye. There they come, along with the Minutemen. Double pop from both town centers. And
that was
oh
a
my
slow
god,
reaction.
Frontline caught with his jaw on the floor. And that was an amazing hold by Ezad. Now, he doesn't want to get all these halbs killed by the force prowlers, or maybe he does, but I don't know. Maybe it's not enough. I keep going back and forth. I thought that was going to be enough to hold, but look at the reinforcing batches from Frontline here. A lot more Kanya and even more forest prowlers coming in, and villagers just fleeing in all directions.
He's still making boats. Wait,
Oh, God.
I don't really
He's
understand this
quadruple
decision. He has
making.
like maybe 2,000 food left on the water, maybe a little bit more, 3,000 food.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, there's nothing left. You're gonna have to delete a lot of those boats because there's only 4 whales on the water. So anything more than 16 fishing boats, you're gonna have to delete in the next 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. He's going to lose this town center, going to lose the second one as well. Both of those barracks, all those houses, the market. And I mean, yeah, you've got a lot of fishing boats, but as you said, they're soon going to become much less effective. And oh man, I really thought that Minutemen pop was going to do more than it did. But yeah, I mean, Frontline coming back with even more reinforcements, but Ezad is still up in score.
Yeah, but now this is a lot of fake score, I think, in these boats. Like these.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't maybe pay that much attention. Yes, he has 84 vills, but 20 of those vills are about to die, I think, in the next. Let's see how many boats he has in total. 36 boats. So 20, exactly 20 of those boats he's gonna have to delete pretty soon to free up that military pop. Forest prowlers, I mean, is a pretty good skirmisher. They don't really lose that hard to Castadors, unlike some other skirms do.
No.
And
More
look
Castadors
at
coming
how
in.
many vills are out.
It's a massacre! Oh, they're making a heroic final stand. The Kanye's riding away, and I don't think there's enough anti-cap to protect any of these Castadors. There's a couple of halberdiers left and some Minutemen, but this is going to be a complete clean by Frontline, and the water play looking absolutely impotent in the face of the Hodenosaunee pressure. And I mean, yeah, he's just being squeezed to the coast, and it looks like it's going to be a slow death by suffocation for Portuguese now.
Actually, it's like 8 or 9 vills made it out of there, so I was a bit surprised that he committed the Kanya on the skirm instead, because I think these forest prowlers were totally capable of trading for a while against those Castadors while the Kanya horsemen cleaned up those vills, but maybe he just wanted to keep his military advantage alive here. And just halbs popping out is not going to do anything against Skirmgoon Cab here. And I don't know. I kind of think this game was over 5 or 6 minutes ago when he didn't have any military units out at 12 minutes or 13 minutes in the game. However,
Well, it's also-
I mean, the score is still very, very even, as you said. Maybe there's still a way, but I don't see it.
I think we also need to point out that Frontline now has full Stagecoach TP while we've been looking at all of this fighting going on in Ezad's base. And so, I mean, even Hodenosaunee economy is not that far behind, if behind at all. I'm convinced he's actually ahead at this point, even though he's down in villagers. And the military, I mean, the gap is just enormous. These halberdiers, as long as the micro is decent, they're going to go down very quickly. Not nearly enough goons to take out all these Kanye, who are upgraded, and more forest prowlers coming in. And yeah, I'm just kind of waiting. It feels like Frontline's just playing with his food at this point. And what does Ezad even send? What does he have left?
Do we care about? Oh no. Okay,
No.
never mind. I thought he was about to ship 3 caravels. That would have been very funny. But he's shipping in
5
goons.
goons.
Now. Yeah.
I mean, the best out of the worst options. Making
Yeah.
Hussar, which he's going to have to buy the veterancy upgrade for. Halberdiers. I mean, if he gets out enough, but
There's 8
I
musket
might.
riders here, so.
Yeah, I'm living in a fairy tale. This is like the last series we cast where it was only Baus, and we wanted the Vil Rush to work. You remember that? It was France
Yeah,
versus
that was so
USA.
funny.
It was the Vil Rush versus the Outlaws.
Yes, I remember that one. I was really hoping for the
gosh.
Greek Revolution in that game, in the
Yeah.
House of Banner, but Val's told me after the game that he hasn't had that much experience with that native. But I think he will be incorporating it in future games, so maybe we can keep an eye out for that if he ever does this strategy again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, the
Gig
score
saying in the
again,
chat now
still the
that's a
same.
Saguenay game. This is the definition of a Saguenay game. Like, if you ask people how do games go on Saguenay, this is how I would describe it. One guy goes water, he goes too hard on water, and then he just gets beat on land. But saying that, I mean, the Port's still got a decent force together. He's still got water, and you know that water is not going to be challenged. So he's got 16 free, basically invincible vills. Maybe he's got an
you're saying on the
artillery
water?
foundry. He's got a stable. I'm just saying, like, maybe Ezad's not out of this yet. I don't know. Like, the score is still somewhat close.
Well, Howden now is going into H4. And,
Okay.
Ooh, some Hussars going in for a raid here. That's a nice raid. It's gonna get caught by these Kanya and Musket Riders though. And I don't think he can afford to lose too many units now. I mean, these units are all gonna be Shadow Teched. Or not Shadow Teched, but are all gonna get the H4 Tech pretty soon. He's gonna get a big, massive light cannons, and this artillery foundry and all these organs are gonna be ineffective against H4 light cannons. And
Is Port like anywhere close to following him up, or no? Oh man,
getting the
rough.
Hussars now. So I think he was going for a little bit of a healer boom here, but I can't find any of them on the Oh, okay. So I guess he just started. So how many does he have? He has 8 already. Never mind. They were just blending in.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. Like, something tells. Well, no. I was gonna say there was a very short window with the organ guns, but now that the light cannons are out, I mean, these guys are gonna be able to kite pretty much an infinite amount of organ guns, just because of their speed and their range. Like, organ guns are never gonna be able to catch up and get set up to be able to actually shoot at these light cannons. I don't know. Veteran Hussars coming in. Gotta have good cav micro here, but yeah, Frontline staying on it. There's no way he's gonna let these 2 lights get picked off. And yeah, it's gonna be a GG fairly soon here. Unless Ezad does the standard, put a TC and like 5 bombard towers on one of the islands. No! We're not gonna see the 50-minute drawn-out game. How unfortunate.
yeah,
And
that's
that's now
unfortunate
2-0
indeed.
for Frontline. Wow. Okay, maybe not what a lot of people expected.
So let's look at the all res gathered. So actually, Ezad there does have the advantage, getting maybe 4K res, but it was very, very close all the way up until the end. And I think he pulled ahead just a little bit. But I mean, if you look at the military unit population, 0 until 12:30, and then he made one batch until this was the 4 Cassadors that we pointed out until 14 minutes basically. And at 14 minutes, Frontline was at like 43 units. So 43 units versus 4 units is not generally what you want to have
No.
in a supremacy game.
And Frontline has now done 2 of the 3 War Chief Sids. So Aztec game 3, I mean, he's been saving the best for last. Aztec, either the best or the second best Civ in the game. And I mean, he gets the counter pick here. So a lot of potential for Aztec. I would love to see just 3 War Chief wins, though I do want this to be a close series as well. And we are on, what is it, Gran Chaco for the next map?
Yes,
Which
indeed.
is a non-TP map. So also would be maybe a decent pick for Aztec. We'll have to see, though.
So we actually have an India mirror. India, one of Ezad's, I think, best civilizations. He's really known
he's
for
sweating a
playing
little
this.
bit.
Yeah, he needs a win here.
Yeah, I'm not in Ezad's mind. I'm not going to pretend to know what he's thinking, but this to me feels like a move of, if I don't win this game, the series is basically over. And so he's pulling out India. And if I look, I've got his history pulled up. He's been playing almost exclusively India pretty much since January, with a couple of Japan games thrown in there on the rank ladder. Of course, that doesn't take into account, lobby games, but India certainly probably his #1 pick. And for a non-TP map like Gran Chaco, I think it is a good civ to go with.
Yeah, totally. India, I think, we've seen them consistently perform very, very well in these non-TP maps. I think we've seen Russia versus India or India mirrors maybe in like 3 or 4 games already in this series. And I think India's win rate has been absolutely incredible on these non-TP maps. I think they're one of the best civs. Aztec probably is the best civ, as you mentioned earlier, on non-TP maps, because they essentially, if you go for a warrior priest boom, have 10 TPs worth of XP on a non-TP map, right? Brits obviously also a very good map, a very good pick on a non-TP map. However, I think Brits is also a good pick on TP maps to counter many of the meta civilizations, like USA, like Spain, or all of these FF civs. So, or Germany even. So I don't know. I think India is a very, very solid pick here, regardless of whether it's his main civilization or not. And that's why we kind of see this India mirror. And they have the lobby booted up. So let's head over to the right into the game. Don't believe we have a map intro. So let's just get right in there.
Alrighty.
All right.
Well, folks, we are in game 3 of the last matchup of the round of 8. It is Ezad versus Frontline. Currently 2-0 in Frontline's favor. And in the south of the map, playing in the color red as India, we do have Ezad. And in the north of the map, in the color blue, playing as India, we have Frontline. And as we said in the pregame here, Frontline really needs a win. And another thing about this Gran Chaco map, besides it being a non-TP map, is the presence of the livestock. Livestock, such an incredible boost for India, because as we know, they do get XP from the livestock that they can bring back. Currently 3 llamas. Oh, there's a fight for the llamas here, but it looks like Ezad is going to keep his 3. He's going for the 4th of Frontline, and the llama wars intensifying here. Baron, thoughts on what India can do against India? Is it best to just try to outboom your opponent with like a Carnimata play? Is it best to go with an early Aggra and be aggressive? What do you think?
Yeah, I think in most mirror matchups, it tends to slightly favor the defensive player because they can go a little bit greedier. I do think you need some good scouting. I expect... I honestly don't really know what to expect. I think you do need some map control, so maybe we'll see a mid-map aggro from one of these players, but as you mentioned, I think Carnimata play will also be an option. What's really important to note is this control of these llamas, because as we know, I think India gets some experience for every kind of herdable they get, right? So 5 llamas is like 0.5 XP, that's almost a church. So it's pretty solid, right, compared to 0.3 here from Ezad.
Yeah.
So Frontline is here with just the slightest of edges in
and just
the beginning of the game.
A small micro thing here by Ezad, but I don't think Ezad... Are those llamas even collecting XP? Don't you have to have them next to the buildings, or do they just collect XP regardless?
No,
I can't remember.
I think you collect them regardless. You can get a Sacred Field down, which and that doubles their XP. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering if it was similar to other civs where they just have to be like in the vicinity of the building, but I don't know. Are there any llamas left on the map, Baron, or have they all been taken? It's 5 to 3
on this map, so
just 8.
Generally, you have 2 in the north here, 2 in the south, and then the same thing here. So just 8. Ezad managed to pick up 3, and Frontline picked up 5. So we're all llamas are accounted for here.
Yeah, there used to be an insane map in ESOC patch, Mongolia, where it was like you had to auto-pick India because it was a very large map, and it had just a ton of water buffalo. I think it was like 11 or 12. And so just India was picked almost every single time. But it now looks like Frontline is going up to H2. And have we taken a look at the decks yet?
No, let's take a look now. I mean, Frontline here, very standard. Shipping distributivism first. Probably foreign logging will come in at some point in H2 as well, and then you won't need that many villagers on wood. We do see him aging up with the Karni Mata, so he will be opting for a more defensive approach here, I believe. While, as I mentioned, Ezad here going for that mid-map Aggra, which I think is necessary. You can't be in-base aggroing on this map if your opponent is making a Karni Mata. You'll just get outscaled very, very quickly. So here, at least he has the chance to exert some pressure on the map and I guess take control of the hunts. Let's take a look
at
an
Oh, go ahead. I just gotta say that's an excellent placement of the Aggra as well. Like, look how he's wedged it in between the trading post slot and the trees. It's gonna be very hard to assault that Aggra fort from more than one direction. Yeah, just a quick note there. Great placement.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is very good. I would like to see him maybe get control of this, just get control of this flag, so Frontline can't tell what his batches are and what he's shipping and everything. Because right now, I think Frontline actually has a little bit of a sneaky line of sight here. So any units that are walking on the front will get scouted. But let's take a quick look at Ezad's deck as well. Is there anything new? Not really. I think this is very, very standard stuff from both players. Elephant Combat is always good to see. I think 2 tournaments ago we saw Azam really utilize elephants and defeat some very, very top level players, but also a lot of H4 military shipments here, which I don't believe we saw in Frontline's deck. Not as many of them, more upgrades in H4, but I'd be very surprised if we see this game drag out to H4. I think it'll most likely, if they commit to H2 play, it'll end in H2.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually thought I was a little bit taken aback because when you talked about taking that trading post, I thought you were going to say you were hoping he builds the Mapuche settlement. And I thought you went crazy there for a minute. I was like, why?
No, just to get the line of sight.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. I think both decks are good in their own way. I think the aggressive Aggra is good. In terms of the India mirror, I agree with what you said at the beginning. I prefer the defensive Karni Mata. I just think it's a little bit stronger. And unless you can get significant damage with your early push, it just feels like the Karni Mata outscales you very, very quickly in the early game. And we're kind of seeing that already. I mean, Frontline taking about 1,000 score advantage. Not a huge deal, but he certainly hasn't taken really any significant damage here. And I wonder what the next step here is for Ezad. You know, we have 10 Sepoy already for Frontline. And Ezad, is he making any units currently? He's got some Gurkha out on the field.
I think Ezad is actually maybe bluffing
diplomatic intrigue. Okay,
he's getting imperial bureaucracy, he's getting all his market techs, so those are in good shape. Frontline here, getting his first one, civil servants now, and probably macroing for imperial bureaucracy as well. Honestly, this is such an underrated tech for these Asian Dynasty civilizations. They're just so strong to have that imperial bureaucracy. It's basically like an earlier eco theory that doesn't really cost a card, but instead costs 150 of each resource. So I think, so recently I've been playing a lot of China, and that card is just so great for boosting the China eco, especially when you're going a little bit greedier in terms of your wonders and which wonders you're building. But anyways, I was just gonna make a quick joke that with Mapuche, right? Maybe he can go for this and go pure Rajput and just right-click the base.
I mean, maybe. People were also talking about there is the gold tech for the Mapuche. What is the name of that tech? Not that we're gonna see it, but it delivers 3 chests of coin every 2 minutes. Okay, maybe not as groundbreaking as I thought, but I think we're going to see an engagement here. Both armies sort of meeting to the west of the red Aggra fort, but I mean, much higher in terms of unit count for blue, though. I mean, Red does have the delis, and he does have more Gurkha. So it's actually more even than you might think.
Ooh, we're gonna see
Actually,
some
no, Gurkha
match
numbers
coming out.
Yeah, Gurkha numbers actually look fairly even. Red's not in a huge advantage. But yeah, I want to see what Ezad does next, because obviously you're right in that the middle Aggra fort kind of faked us out. We thought it was going to be early aggression, but that's certainly not what he's going for. He is poking and prodding with his delis, which is good. But are we going to be seeing like a transition into age 3 and just seize map control and go elephant here? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's possible. It looks like that's what his macro is heading towards now. Not building another house because he is expecting to not have to make units for the next 1 or 2 minutes. Shipping 700 coin, macroing for 1200 food. And I'll expect him to be clicking up pretty soon. On the other hand, Frontline here, still batching some units, so he will be following a little bit slower. Because this is, again, I think Ezad is doing a little bit of a bait. He's poking in a little bit with his military, kind of like, oh, I'm about to timing you at this 9-minute mark. But instead of doing a timing, he's just going right back and aging up. And it really depends on when Frontline can kind of scout this and realize that something is not going quite right. No new units are being trained, and make an adjustment to his game plan. Because look at that, he just made a wall here quickly because he was kind of, I assume he's very worried about a impending timing from Ezad here. But
he's got a ton of vills on berries too, which seems like a more defensive play as well. But I mean, if you're playing an India mirror, I feel like the worst thing that can happen to you is you get caught in age 2 while your opponent gets up to age 3. He has access to elephants. He has access to some really, really powerful unit pops. And he has access, of course, to those disciplined upgrades. So Frontline in a precarious position here. And I think Ezad's going to get away with a clean sweep into age 3. And we'll have to see what Blue does to counter it.
yeah, but Frontline, I think, realizing that this timing is either too late or never coming, and so he's shipped 700 coin, he's gathering for 1200 food, and he will be following up very quickly. I assume with 8 villagers on this wonder, and taking some quick shots at this deli, putting it down to 13 HP. And what will he be aging up with? I assume maybe Charminar Gate. That's what this one is called, right?
Well, I think, no, isn't Red oh yeah, Red is going with the Charminar Gate. Yeah.
And I assume it's going to be the same thing. Getting that one map out is pretty nice. I mean, 1100 HP. That's like a cur and a half, or 2 curs worth of HP, which is just very, very nice.
Yeah, I didn't see that Blue was macroing so quickly for H3. I thought he was far more behind than he actually was. But, I mean, Red still has a bit of a window here that he can push in, maybe do some damage. He does have the Mahout Lancer. And it'll be interesting to see what compositions they both go for, if they both just fully transition into elephants. It does look like Ezad, that's what he's going for. He is sending the 2 Mahout Lancers, possibly going to be sending elephant combat very soon. And the 2 siege elephants as well would be very, very effective. But I'm not sure if that's what Frontline's going to do. Frontline has been investing a lot more into infantry. So maybe he's going to go that direction instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ezad has missed a couple batches. The Sepoy mass and these Gurkha mass have not really grown at all. And I don't think Siege Ellies is the right time to ship that. You know, Frontline is about to run out of res in his base, so he needs to push it out. So there's no really need to be forcing the issue in his base with Siege Ellies sieging everything. You want military advantage so that you can continue this containment. But right now, I agree. I think Ezad has a little bit of a timing here before Frontline's first shipment comes in. And it's going to be sent. It's going to be 9 Sepoys. And maybe if he can make something happen, probably 1 villager will be going down. But again, like, this is such a great choke that Frontline has made in his base, right? Mahout's
just
not known for good pathing. Not going to be able to
and there's
get
just
in there.
not enough reinforcing infantry either. Like if, you know, like you said, if Ezad had gotten those full batches, he would have enough infantry to push in and support his elephants. But right now, because he only has a handful of Gurkha and a handful of Sepoy, those elephants are really going to have to do a lot more work than they would need to ordinarily. And I think, you know, Ezad making the right call there, pulling back. He knows that the engagement is not to his favor yet, but he is always going to have that 1 to 2 minutes of age 3 progression in his favor, and maybe he can utilize that.
Yeah, I think what matters is here is the XP curve, and I think Ezad is somehow a little bit ahead, actually. So he's about to get a second H3 shipment, while Frontline here, because I believe he shipped that 5 Seaboy card. So yeah, he shipped an extra shipment in H2. He's a little bit behind on his shipment curve, even though he had more llamas, and I think maybe even took some more favorable trades.
Oh, wow. Chat making a couple of great observations here, Baron. Okay, so number one, I haven't really focused on map control, but yeah, because of that aggressive fort, Ezad does have fantastic map control, and he's even got a second town center on the far east of the map, which is just a very Ezad move. You know, pushing in with his military while also making a second TC. But that is going to significantly change the economic balance of this game. Being able to double produce vills, he's going to be able to overtake Frontline's advantage very quickly unless some big fight happens quite soon.
Yeah, I mean, right now the economy is extremely similar. Exactly 41 vills for both players. Frontline, I think, is a little bit ahead because of the Carni Mata. However, yeah, as you said, putting up that TC with a
we're going to see an engagement here, I think. No, not quite. They keep they keep bobbing and weaving. Just a preliminary skirmish right now, but the reinforcing infantry from Ezad is starting to grow. The Gurkha numbers looking very, very even, and we have to remember that the Mahout Lancer numbers are in favor of red. So if he can just get a good engagement here with his elephants on the infantry, he might be able to swing it in a big way. Second town center now going down for blue, but the Delhi's still raiding in blue's base. Great control there by Ezad. I don't know if he got a villager or not. But yeah, it looks like red is finally ready to be aggressive and push out across the map.
But actually a TC going down very aggressively for Frontline here in the middle of the map. And this TC, I think, will give him a lot of line of sight and potentially kind of secure these hunts towards the bottom half of the map as well, just because of how aggressively it's placed and how much kind of control it exerts around the center of the map. But so I mean, again, now the ecos are balanced out. We have 2 town centers against 2 town centers, but a little bit of a flank play here. Ezad taking his army around all of this and hitting Frontline's main base from the top side.
Yeah, that was an excellent play. Now, he doesn't want to get caught. He wants to stay in reinforcement range of his Aggra fort, and it looks like that's what he's about to do. Now, 3 Mahout Lancers for Frontline. He even healed that one injured one with his explorers, which was really smart. But now the army's looking almost identical here, Baron. So this is really going to come down to micro. It looks like Frontline is going to catch this 3rd town center trying to go down from Ezad. That's going to be a wonderful catch for him. And it's going to make sure that the economies stay almost dead even.
That's a bit greedy, I think. Like, you know that both players have a big mass now, so you don't really want to be sacrificing batches for a new TC, which costs 500 foot, right? And he's actually pretty popped here, so I don't know about that decision. On the other hand, so Frontline now pushing in. He's going to be able to do some infrastructure damage while the army is near the central Aggra forts. But here, Ezad posturing for a surround here with the Mahout Lancers and the infantry coming in. I think the Sepoy mass is in favor.
Oh, look at that! More Lancers coming out from the rear!
Oh, this is impossible to micro.
Catch. No way, Frontline is cooked. Oh god, the infantry are getting engaged. The Mahout Lancers getting a great snare on the infantry, trying to go back onto the Gurkha. And the Mahout Lancers for blue, they're doing so much running around, they're not really doing any effective damage, and the Sepoys taking them out quickly, even calling the Minutemen from the town center. And this was a great catch by Ezad, though. I do think Frontline's going to get a lot of his infantry away, but taking a lot of parting shots here, and all of his Mahout Lancers going down, though he did kill all of the Mahout Lancers for Ezad as well. So maybe a more balanced trade than I originally thought.
Well, this is definitely a good trade for Ezad, I think. He was able to really thin out the Gurkha mass in the beginning of that fight. A couple of them just went down for free because the Mahouts. So generally, right, the drag box micro is very effective when you're getting attacked from one direction. You can just flip your army, put your heavy infantry in front, and deal with the Mahouts. But there, that was like a complete pincer move. And Frontline just didn't know what to do with the Sepoy. Like, you can't drag box that and flip your Sepoy to both sides and keep the Gurkha in the middle, right? So that was a incredible, I think, positional play there from Ezad. But good micros, nevertheless, from Frontline kept him from losing his entire mass there. So I think the game is still going. That was a good trade for Ezad, and we see from the score that it's now balanced out. I think Frontline had a slight lead going into that fight.
He had about a 2K score lead.
Yeah, so not too much, but I think that was just slightly favored, definitely, for Ezad.
Now, I do wonder, would that have gone even better for Ezad if that had been Yurmi instead of Mahouts?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Urumi are one of the best units in the game, I think. But against Mahou Lancers of his own, I'm not sure. Obviously, Mahouts do 2x damage against Urumi, who are classified as light infantry. So,
oh, look at that. Ezad even... He got that third TC up after all. Look at the way north of the map. It's closer to Frontline's base than his own. But I mean, that is going to secure a vital set of hunts here. And that really was Frontline's next potential food income. So maybe a good TC placement there from Ezad. Oh, wow, we have Redcoats coming in here from Frontline as well. And I don't know, maybe at the end of the day, that was a good pullback for Frontline. He did get a lot of his infantry away pretty unharmed, though the fact that he's transitioning to rice paddies now does have me a bit concerned for his economy going forward.
Yes.
Oh, does he see that? He does see that now. So maybe that's a new target for him. What's unfortunate is in order to go for that town center, you basically have to abandon your own town center down here, because that is just such a long walk for these infantry units. And in the time that it takes Frontline to get his army up over... Oh! Ezad here just sneaking in an H4 completely out of the blue. We probably should have been paying a little bit more attention here.
Huge move by Ezad, and that is a
big
swing. Oh, that is a huge swing. And the fact that Frontline is just now transitioning to rice paddies, that is such a perfect timing for Ezad. This could be the big momentum shift that we've been looking for. And just like you predicted, he's going for that second town center while Frontline is going for his in the far north. And now Frontline has to decide, does he turn his army around, waste all that walking time, or does he just decide to trade town centers, which he can, but it does still mean he'll be down a town center, even if they both take out each other's. Wow, what a big play by Ezad.
Yeah, lots of cards as well in H4. He has that 4 Mahou shipment for 1,000 food. And then the Mysorean rockets, the British rockets, they're consulates. They're even better than normal rockets. So, I don't know. I mean, this is a very, very nice play from Ezad. Again, kind of baiting, right? Oh, I'm about to... I just took a good fight. I'm going to crush you now. So, pushing Frontline back. And then just going back to his base and aging. These are some Giga Chad moves, I think, from Ezad.
Yeah. Wow, that's so many Lancers from Frontline. Where did he get all those from? I guess that's what he's been investing in instead of aging up, yeah. But it's the 2 rice paddies here that are kind of the ugly part of Frontline's base right now. The fact that he's had to transition to those, they are very, very costly. Now, granted, if this game goes much farther, they're going to be useful, but it looks like we are going to be seeing a fight here. Both infantry's getting engaged, the Mahouts getting engaged as well, and I don't think Ezad has had time to get any of his industrial upgrades, but whoa, what are the Mahouts doing? They're pulling back, they're going for...
They're Rumi.
Oh, he did pop Yurumi, getting them into the back of Frontline's core here, and actually Ezad taking this fight quite well. Did he get some of those upgrades after all?
He has Honored Gurkha and Sequel, so definitely...
Oh, okay. I thought he didn't have those yet, and I was wondering why his infantry were just mulching blues here, but yeah, this is a really, really good engagement, and almost all of the Mahouts going down. Yeah, this is... And I mean, oh god! Oh, dude's coming out!
No,
This is huge!
here.
No, oh god, he calls the ceasefire at the perfect time, and now look at this.
It's just
no, I don't think so.
Coming. What is he gonna save this with?
I don't know. He's gonna try to pull back to the Aggra fort and maybe just try to get a little bit more of a better trade here. But these guys are about to get cooked. Look at the Mahou Lancers. They're just following him. They're giving him the side eye the entire way. And there goes the ceasefire. It's now off, and the Mahouts are spread all through the army. There is still no significant anti-cav, and Ezad's army is going to be absolutely owned here. Now, the one thing is he is still in H4. He's still got that big advantage. Maybe he can make some sort of pop here. Out come the C-point. This is what he needs, but is it going to be enough? I don't know. Oh, that was such a huge pop from Frontline.
The C-poise going in. He has enough Gurkha here in the back as well. Oh, these Vills getting pulled a little bit, but these Mahouts, they can just be on top of the Vills because they're not useful here against the C-poise. And I think this is a little bit of a comeback. The score is still very, very even. 80 Vills for Ezad, only 63 Vills actually for Frontline. So
it was a huge win for Frontline, but again, I'm going to point out that Ezad is in H4. He does have the honored upgrades for his infantry, and, you know, he does still have 2 TCs. So if he can rebuild, and he's still on hunts, something else we need to point out, while Frontline has built a third rice paddy. So yes, great win, did get him back in the game, but Ezad still, it feels to me like he's in the driver's seat right now, even after that Mahout pop.
Yeah, we got a couple red coat raids. I don't think they actually caught any kills so far, but they're kind of just being sneaky, hiding in the tree line here in that little defensive position, and just waiting for any vills to get over there. But again, so we have a little bit of a vill lead for Ezad here, 14 villagers in front of Frontline, and as you mentioned, still being on hunts is very, very nice. Although I think he should be transitioning soon as well, because these are his last hunts, I believe.
We can see the culmination of Ezad being in Age 4. I mean, just look at how quickly the score returned to, I mean, being in his favor from being even. He's now keeping up a 2K score lead pretty consistently. And unless Frontline can follow him into Age 4 fairly quickly, but it doesn't look like he is. It looks like he's really being invested in this Mahout play, and I don't know, is this eventually just going to not be enough? I mean, the Aggra fort's going to go down in the middle.
I think the longer this goes, definitely the better it is for... Oh, 4 Mahouts popping! Is this going to be the reverse?
Oh, another... God, that's like the fourth... That's the
this
fourth
is not a
Mahout pop of the game, but I mean, there's a lot of sepoys. There's a lot of counter Mahouts here as well. But we have to remember these Mahouts are incredibly expensive in the food department, and because Frontline's on rice paddies, these Mahouts are incredibly costly, and so losing them in even trades like this is not the kind of engagement he needs. He needs to be getting very cost-effective trades, and it doesn't really look like that's what he's getting, and we're just seeing the honored upgrade. They're absolutely dumping on their Age 3 counterparts here, and that felt like a pretty clean trade in Ezad's favor.
Yeah, I mean, that trade did not go well for Frontline, and I think that'll be the end of the game, because Frontline had to continue taking good trades because he had that... he was down in his tech advantage, right? Discipline versus honored units, and also down in economy, because only 70 bills against 87 now. So Ezad almost on max bills here. So yeah, I think that was the trade that Ezad was looking for, thinning out Frontline's army, and now I think he is gonna guarantee a win if he can convert to this position.
Third TC also back up for Ezad on the south of the map here.
Taken down here though.
Oh, but it's going to go up immediately.
He moved the TC from here to here and just said, okay, I guess he sees my
fine,
TC. I'm
whatever.
just gonna move it 4 blocks towards the right here. Or 4 tiles.
It does now make this castle visible to Ezad, and it looks like he's going to be taking that out very quickly. And, I mean, Frontline, unless he's in his base and he can get some sort of pop, taking an engagement in the open field really is kind of suicidal for him, because he knows he cannot beat these honored upgrade units. And now look, he's pushing the Aggra fort again, and I don't think we're going to be seeing another Mahout pop, but at this point, is killing the Aggra fort really that big of a win?
Looks like there's like raids going all over the place right now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy to follow.
Yeah, batch of
Oh, that could be a huge raid in the northern coin mine. There's like, what, 7, 8, 9 vills there?
Yeah,
and his army is so far removed.
A little bit. They're here. They saw the redcoats.
1 vill going down, 2 vills going down. We have a vill migration in the south, Baron. What the hell is going on? Good lord. There are raiding units everywhere. There are TCs everywhere. Oh, another huge catch by the Mahouts. Oh, villagers being massacred by the elephant raid. Oh, they're coming. They're coming. But, oh, there's going to be so many lost vills here. Ezad down to 72 villagers from 87. And now we're seeing a redcoat raid on this batch. And I don't know if the delis are still raiding up in the north. I don't think so. But we're going to be seeing an engagement here. Mahout on Mahout. And do the red Mahouts have the H4 upgrade? I think that's going to be a huge thing to check. They do have the honored upgrade. That is going to be big. And look at how quickly these Mahout Lancers are going down for blue here. And again, this is a huge food investment. They're not going to be easy to replenish. And these Mahouts in the back, keeping the infantry pinned down, doing a great job snaring. And this is going to be a very clean sweep for red. And I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin that you were talking about for Ezad.
Well, he actually survived there. I think the Mahouts got a little bit too far and got meleeed by the sepoys without any returning fire. But a full batch of 5 more honored Mahouts coming in. And this is going to be hard to deal with. If he can coordinate his units well in position, though, it'll work out very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, survived is a strong word there, Baron. I think temporarily escaped would be a more accurate description, because once these Mahouts get on these infantry, I mean, he's out upgraded and he's outnumbered at this point. There really is no chance of Frontline winning a direct engagement, and I think Ezad knows that. And so he's just going to start sieging down all of Frontline's kind of external castles and buildings, and he's just going to dare Frontline to come fight him. But now we're seeing more Mahouts coming out. Ooh, we're going to get a surround here. Is it going to happen? No, it looks like Ezad's going to pull out just in time, but the Gurkha being caught. Oh, I can't tell. I still think it's going to be a decent engagement for Red, just because of the honored upgrades. They go so far.
I don't know about this. The Mahouts are on the Gurkha here. The Seaboy are getting completely thinned out. Great micro by Frontline. One Mahout still left alone on the Gurkha. Is this not a cleanup?
Now you might be right, actually.
And
yeah,
more
it is
Bills
going to be
exposed
a
here.
cleanup.
So the Bills are now equal again from Frontline and Ezad, and actually Frontline, because he's already transitioned, has a little bit of an advantage. Ezad here is macroed completely for wood right now. 57 villagers, stacking 4,000 wood. Almost.
Oh, good lord.
He needs to quickly get those rice paddies down, because, I mean, he can't be stacking 4,000 wood in the semi-final or quarterfinals of a...
With 150 food.
What is going on? There's no rematch here for
I have
Ezad.
no idea. I have no idea. I mean, what shipments does he have available? Is there like some big pop
Rockets.
coming? Oh, wow. I mean, what a rocket's going to do.
More bills going down on the top here.
Oh, no. Ezad!
I think he caught it a bit too soon. I think he was surviving there on the front line with that good trade. And now these villagers again migrating because they have nowhere to gather. And, okay, so he's managed to smack down some rice paddies in the back to get some food builds on. Maybe he can... So to get some bills on food and maybe spam out some of these honored Mahouts, but I mean, this macro is not what you want to see. 3,000 wood still being stacked. All of his villagers idled now, just walking.
There's like
and running
20 of
away.
them in that town center. That town center is going to go down so quickly, and those villagers are going to be absolutely toast. No way, Frontline. This would be one of the most amazing comebacks we have seen in the entire tournament. And a Ceasefire coming out once again. It'll buy him time to get his army there, but is that going to make much of a difference? The Red Army has been severely depleted, and like you said, the macro from Ezad looking sloppy here. And yeah, that reinforcing batch is not very encouraging. Look at that, they're turning away.
We have 5 seconds. What is he going to do? Is he going to sack his army and his bills, or just sack his bills? Let's take a look here, because there's no conceivable way this army... Yes, he has the tech advantage. I get it. He has the honor status, and he has a pretty big bill pool here, but... How many units are there? There's only 23 units for Ezad here, and 52 units for Frontline. I mean, I don't know, 30% better units, but like half the number of units is not a good statistic for you.
Yeah, and I mean, the villagers are just falling quickly, and the Sepoys proving how bad of an anti-cav unit they really are. I mean, they've been hacking at these Mahouts pretty much the entire fight, and I don't think they've managed to kill even one yet.
Well, they've been
and
walking
look at them,
right? A little bit faster. More Irumi coming in. These Irumi are going to be good if the Mahouts are able to get focused down.
But we got to check the build numbers. We got to check the build numbers. How many does Ezad have?
69 now.
69, let's go!
Well, he is kiting these Irumi very well. I think Frontline just had really great positioning in every fight. Ezad just couldn't take the trade that he needed it. I mean, yes, we were arguing that he was surviving. But really, Frontline was just delaying until he could get back into this game. And yeah, I mean, Ezad just could not finish him when he had the chance.
Oh, man.
This has got to hurt. This loss has got to hurt.
That was brutal for Ezad, especially being in such a commanding position there just 5 minutes ago. And oh man, it was that final pop of Mahouts that just did him in. And like you said, I mean, Frontline's positioning in those fights was incredibly good. He was always getting his Mahouts, you know, not just charging them at the front line, but getting them in the front and in the back, running them around, distracting the Sepoys. And wow, what a comeback by Frontline. What an absolute comeback.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the military population graphs, I think Ezad just could not take a good fight throughout that entire game. He just got out-microed. See this fight at 20 minutes, they had the same military pop starting off, but after the fight, Frontline had 50 units left and Ezad had 13. A very, very good fight for Frontline. And later on, same thing happened. Ezad had 116 military pop compared to just 108, right? And this big Mahal pop that I think we caught from the stable managed to kind of really turn this fight around, and Ezad lost almost all of his units, and that I think was the game ender there. Overall, looking at the villager population, both players I think had some pretty phenomenal raids. I mean, it was very close all the way up until 20 minutes, and then Frontline got raided hard, losing probably 10 villas around here, right? Including the villas being trained. But then Ezad being brought all the way down from almost max villas to just 70 villas, where that, I think, I guess you can't remember where that big raid happened. It wasn't the TC. The TC was the last part, but I think there was a big raid in the center, right?
It was just where you just were on the map. It was to the right of that trading post slot, because I remember the villagers trying to run past there, flee back to the original town center. Yeah, that's where the elephants caught them.
Yeah, and the Mahals were just wailing on them. But that has got to hurt. But very, very well played by Frontline. I mean, this is what the kind of discipline, I guess, that you need to claw yourself back into the game from a pretty losing position, I think, when Ezad hits H4. So very, very impressive. The chat really wants to see the wood gather rate. And, I'll humor them. Let's take a quick look.
All right.
Wood Toto here. Ezad really, really popping off in the wood department. I'm not sure if that was ever useful, because he had about 4,000, 3,000 wood at the end of the game. But, I mean, it's tough, right? When you're running out of natural resources and you're taking fights everywhere, you're having to run vills. Wood is the safest resource to just put your vills on temporarily. And oftentimes that just costs you the game, because you don't have the APM to really macro properly if you can't find the rice paddies, the hunts, the mines to put your vills on safely. So, I mean, very well played by Frontline. And let's head back into the home screen.
This is definitely... Oh, go ahead. Go
sorry.
ahead.
As I said, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick, but I'll be right back.
Oh, absolutely. Do your thing. Yeah. Oh, man. This is absolutely going on my channel, by the way. I am clipping this for sure. That was such a good game. Oh, goodness gracious. I see a lot of people in the chat pushing for Ezad, and I am too. Obviously, I'm trying to stay unbiased, but I'd love to see Ezad take one of these games. You know, maybe even bring it to 6 games, maybe even 7. That would be awesome. But like I said, guys, at the beginning, if you take a look at their activity on the ranked ladder, I mean, Frontline has been putting in a ton of games recently, and he's been putting in a ton of games with a variety of civs. Whereas if you look at Ezad's, ranked ladder history, he hasn't been putting in as many games, and the games he has been putting in have been almost entirely India, with a couple of Japan games sprinkled in. Now, again, maybe he's just doing a ton of practice on the lobby. That's possible. But I mean, we're seeing Frontline's diligence on the ranked ladder paying off here in the tournament. Wow. I mean, this final 4 is looking absolute stacked. I mean, we have Cuter Boy or Cuter Boy. I don't know who. Honestly, if you're in the chat still, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Please let me know. We got Phoenix. We got Haza, who just put on an amazing display earlier this afternoon versus King of Osmane. And, depending on who wins this, Ezad or Frontline, the semifinals are looking just absolutely insane in terms of the talent level of the players.
Yeah, and we actually have the Civ picks now in the next game. Ezad picking the Germans and Frontline picking the French. So
that's our first... People are pointing it out in the chat, but that's our first European set of civs this entire series. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, I guess, the war chief and Asian Dynasties kind of, right, so far. I guess we had ports, but other than that, I love this matchup. I've been doing it a lot in lobbies against players pretty significantly better than me, actually. So I'm generally a Germany main, but recently I've been kind of lobbying with a couple of the top players with their French and some other civs in these classic matchups, just to practice my micro, practice my macro, etc. And I think this matchup, I mean, traditionally has been a little bit favored for Germany, just because the Ulan mass in H2 tends to outperform France's Hussar semi. However, and like if France wants to do an H2 timing with Musketeer and Hussars, the Uhlans actually are able to kind of hold them off long enough, buy enough time for you to get that 3 War Wagon shipment out in H3, which then kind of cleans up this Muscat's timing. However, we all know that these Uhlans got a little bit of a nerf last patch, and now, I mean, the 12-10 with France, actually there's this pretty cool build that I've seen some people do, where you age up with the 12-10 and ship 3 Hussars first and make a batch of 5 Hussars as well. And Germany actually, with this Uhlan nerf, the Uhlans take an extra hit to kill each Hussar, and 8 Huss in your base before 6 minutes just ends Germany's plans of making a Huss semi or a Uhlan semi. So I think that's a very cool variation, and I'd love to see it. I think it's good on this map as well because of how many food treasures there are for France to potentially pick up. But the lobby is up, so let's head right in there.
Let's dive in. All right, folks, we are in the potential match point here of the last series of the round of 8. Ezad versus Frontline in the south of the map. We do have Ezad playing as Germany in the red, and in the north of the map, we have Frontline, who is currently up 3-0, which I think quite a few people did not expect. And he is in the blue playing, again, as the French on my homeland of Dakota. I love this map. This is going to be really, really fun to see. I'm going to push back a little bit on what you said, though, Baron. I do feel like in the current patch, France is the favorite here, just because of how strong the 12-10 meta has become. And it just feels like France has a lot of Germany's tools, but they're just slightly more flexible. They're slightly more adaptable. And of course, they have those incredibly strong CDBs as well. But if we need to see Ezad win this game to continue the series, what is his best chance of taking a W here?
Well, I definitely agree. I think nowadays it's much closer for France. I think in the past, Germany was slightly favored. Now I think it's basically dead even. Just really depends on what kind of treasures you get in H1. Because yes, a French 12-10 can exert so much pressure on Germany, either with this 8 cav taking 5 and shipping 3, or just with an infantry start with musketeers and then adding cavalry later on. I think both are very viable options here. On the other hand, Frontline already really scouting this 85 food treasure, getting this additional 40 food treasure in base. And does he see any other good treasures? So this XP treasure, I think, was getting taken by Ezad, but he gave up on it, maybe because he was worried that France's Explorer was going to make its way there. But, I mean, this is already a phenomenal 12-10. Look at this, 205. He's going to be aging up around 210.
Yeah,
And
it is an incredibly fast age up here. And if we take a look at Ezad, where is he in his progression towards H2? He did go with the market start, and he is significantly behind. He's just now reaching 400 food, just sending 2 settler wagons. Like I said, he does have his market and his house. He's going to be getting his hunting dogs if he hasn't already. And we're going to be seeing a potential treasure steal here. Oh, it's going to be close. No, I think he's going to be able to pick it up, but he's going to lose his explorer in the process.
Germany without an explorer is just so bad, because he needs that explorer to build in H2. So yes, he got the treasure, but I mean, if he manages to get snared here and lose his explorer before he's able to age up and get his TP down, this is going to be devastating for Germany. Germany does actually have a very good age up of his own. I think he clicked up around 245 with 16 mils, which is...
Well, I mean, that 75 wood was... That 75 food was... Not wood, food. That was a huge help in his age up, but I think what you're saying is very valid here. If it costs him his Explorer, it's really going to hurt his XP curve, and I don't know how he's going to adapt. He could send a villager, of course, but I mean, the villagers build so slowly on the TPs, and it is going to go down. That is... Yeah, that is brutal for Germany.
You know what you do now? You give up on your plan. You just take an accelerator wagon. You slap a tower here. So you don't build a TP. You slap a tower here, and you just bow pike rush. A 16 vil age up is actually... and this, I'm only half joking, but I think this is actually like maybe the best plan forward. Because a 16 vil age up is actually very, very good for Germany. And
Wait,
he had
look
a
at that.
decent
Look
timing.
at go a little bit south. I saw a little red dot coming across the map. There was a villager.
Just
Oh no,
hurting,
she was just
hurting.
hurting. I thought she was running to set up the tower. I was like, oh my god, Baron's a prophet.
No, but I think
Oh, man.
I honestly think that he might have to do that. Like, if you don't have a TP as Germany, you're gonna have to pick it up with a Vil here. What is he? I mean, there's only 60 HP on that Explorer. You're not gonna be able to pick it up until you age up, I guess. But
Yeah.
oh, he's building a native TP.
Well,
Which one
I
is
mean, we do
this?
have Kree on this map. There are Kree on this map.
This is the Kree, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess.
Yeah.
What was France's first military building? It is a stable. So if
Yeah.
we see this 3 Hus, no, he doesn't. He's not a 3 Hus enjoyer. That's unfortunate
No.
to see. I really love this build. I think with that good of a 12-10 and Germany getting their TP denied, 8 Hus in their base I think is just so strong and impossible to play against. Really, you have to ship DOPS or do something else. Otherwise, you're fully idle. But anyways, okay, let's stop talking about ifs and maybes and see what's
Well, that
what they're
Kree
actually doing in
adaptation-
this game.
I mean, something concrete we can talk about is that Kree change up. I think that really was a really like good in the moment move by Ezad. I think going with the Kree, he was able to get it up really quickly because his Explorer was right there. And this map does have decent natives. Of course, the Kree being one of the best, and the Cheyenne, well, not great. But he did just send 3 settler wagons, which is, I don't know. Maybe you can give me your opinions on this. It might be the best card in the game. 3 settler wagons. I mean, 6 villagers in age 2
Yeah.
is just insane.
Yes.
I've always thought it's like in the top 3 of the best shipments out of any in the game. But we do see 4 Hussars making their way across the map. Ooh, almost got snared there by the Explorer, but the 2 Ulans gonna get away scot-free. You definitely want to take care of those Ulans. I've heard it said multiple times that the more Ulans you save in age 2, the more you can get to veterancy in age 3, and that does make a big difference. And now Pikeman gonna join the fight, gonna push off those Hussars, and he's making the right adaptations here.
Yep. So I think Germany's gonna go for a 3 shipment FF, do a little bit of work in age 2 with Pikes and Ulan. That's why he's shipping the 700 wood here, and then he's gonna follow it up with 700 coin later on to age up with 3 shipments instead of 2. Yeah, I mean, right now, so Germany, I think the way it works is they do have a very good early game economy. I mean, that you get steel traps super early, right? And you have that 4 vil, 6 vil kind of shipments with 2 settler wagons and 3 settler wagons. So their early game eco is extremely good. But France, they scale way better than Germany does. So around the 13, 14 minute mark, I think generally France's eco catches up to Germany's and then starts outscaling. Of course, France themselves, they have good shipments.
Wow. Look at the reinforcing Hussars coming in here, and that's going to be enough to just absolutely lambast those couple of Pikes, though it won't be
10
the best
Pikes,
trade.
though.
And actually, no, we got more reinforcements on the way. This might be a great engagement. Now the Ulans are snaring, and if he can get on with these Pikes, kill a few of these Hussars, that's going to be a great trade here. I mean, Hussars, 5 Hussars being 1,000 resources, but now Musk's joining the fray, and that really is going to swing things into France's favor.
Yes, I think either Ezad can ship 8 bows or he can age up here.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I mean, Bo Pike does lose to Musk Huss quite hard, but it's still an option. Let's see what he ships here.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 bows or 700 coin. I think maybe I personally go for 700 coin and just try to get up into the next stage. But okay, he's deciding to go for 8 bows, which is also fine. You can have a decent mass of bows, which will deal with the, I mean, pretty low number of musketeers so far. And then you have a good amount of pikes in H2 that you can kind of play around with for a while.
Can we just point out that Frontline's Cav micro has just been impeccable? That entire pursuit, like, he pulled out his pikes. He's trying to lure him into his muskets. That was just excellent control. And we've been seeing that from Frontline pretty much the entire series. His micro with his units has just been that little bit much ahead of Ezad's. And I think that's why he's up 3-0 right now. Not because he's significantly better in terms of build orders or knowledge or macro, but just his micro has been just that little bit tighter. But now Kree Tracker's coming out. This actually might be the alternative to going full bows. That's
what
a
is he
really nice
doing?
play. Oh, no. Just saying it. Oh, man. Rip.
That was a bit unnecessary, but they're not the worst. I mean, there were only 2 units out there, and he's getting these Kree CDBs, so his eco is actually quite strong right now. Look at this, 28
TP
villagers,
also now going
7
down.
settler merchants. Sorry?
Better late than never. TP going down.
Give
Better
me
late than
Ezad.
never.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I thought it went up like right in the start of H2.
Did it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
I must have been late to that. Okay. Well, then
Yeah.
actually, no. Losing that TP in Age 1, I mean, people are saying in the chat, like, that was an automatic loss for Germany, but I don't know. I think he's still in the game. I mean, I don't
He
think
had
he's
to
out of it
adapt
by
a
any
lot.
means.
I think he had to adapt a lot, going bow pike instead of Ulans, which Germany would rather go for, because
But
bow
look how
pike is
many
so
hussars he's catching here. He's even caught up to the muskets with the pikes. It's going to be able to give him a chance to get the Expos into the combat. And, I mean, this is a decent trade here for Germany.
Yeah, this is okay. I mean, he just needs to keep these pikes alive for a little bit longer, just to deal with these hussars, because if you only have bows left, you're in big trouble. But he does have another batch of pikes. He's gonna finish this batch of pikes, and then he's gonna use that 700 coin to age up. And actually,
That was a
Ezad
really
is
good
outplaying
engager.
here. Yes.
Yeah.
Bow pike OP.
Yeah, well, it really was. And just the fact he was able to snare those muskets, I think if those muskets had gone away cleanly, Frontline would still be in a very good position. But he lost like 10, 15 muskets there in that engagement. Not to mention, I mean, he had what, 10 hussars, and he's down to 3? And look at how far out these CDBs are. Germany is actually making France look foolish here. He's going to get this TP, going to probably take down the second one as well, and this house.
Well, but,
Yeah, but-
France is aged up
oh.
and has skirms now.
I didn't
That's not
see
enough
that,
skirms.
yeah.
That is not enough skirms. So there's a chance that he can do a little bit of damage here. Deal with his first H3 shipment to screw up his shipment curve. And then he is aging himself anyways, right? So,
Yeah. Oh, God. Curs are out on the map. Nope.
that's
yeah, there's all 4 Curs. That's, but there are still enough pikes, aren't there? There's like 20 pikes here.
it just depends on how well he splits. So how many, if he has 8, he only has 7, so he can't shoot 2 pikes at once right now. So there's a
He's pulling the
chance.
CDBs
And these are expensive units. I think it's fine if he sacks all of these units, as long as he takes out the Curs and the Curs and
Yeah, they are.
This is really good micro again from Ezad.
Wow. Oh, my God. That
Able
was
to take out the Curs.
I mean, what are Curs? A 300 resource unit? That's
Exactly.
like 1,200 resources. Plus, he's killed a good handful of the skirms. He's made Frontline pull a significant amount of the CDBs that were on food. And all he had to lose is a couple of 80 resource units. That's still a really good trade for
This is
Germany.
a great
and-
trade. I mean, this is a great.
Yeah,
These are some
man.
trash units from H2. He doesn't really even want them. They're just wasting top space. So having them have so much value in early H3 is just phenomenal for him.
Yeah, we're seeing such a different response to Game 4 from Ezad than we saw from King of Osmane. Like, I feel like in our last series, King of Osmane, by game 3, Game 4, he felt kind of out of it. But Ezad, I mean, he is fighting for every scrap here. Definitely does not want to get swept, and he's certainly looking to be in a strong position right now.
Yeah, and for once, we're seeing Germany have double barracks. So Germany tends to not really add 2 barracks until pretty late in the game. Just because their eco, I think, does not scale as well, and it's hard for them to get full batches. But here, with those Kree CDBs, with this tower rush that delayed his H3 for a little bit, he actually does have the eco to batch pretty significant full batches from both barracks and his stable, batching war wagons, which is quite expensive to do as well. And now, I mean, war wagon skirm, I think is good.
Plus
good
9
as a starting
Ulan.
point. Yes, but exactly.
Plus 9 Ulan. Their
Ulans are the
snaring
win
ability
condition.
is going to be, they're going to be critical here. If those 9 Ulan can snare the Curs, allow the war wagons to do their work.
Just missed it out by 1 food.
Oh, God.
That's fine. He
Yeah,
only
that's-
needs like 5 to 8. I think 7 is totally fine.
I mean, I don't want to say France is out of it, but he's just taken a couple of really bad trades here, and he had to pull off his vills for a significant amount of time. And, he's had to do things like make 5 pikes we see there in the top left, and just all of these little things that are eating away at his efficiency. Meanwhile, Germany has been very efficient with some pretty crappy units, and now this army moving down the lane is looking very scary. These veteran Ulans, well, they're going to get veterancy in just a second. There it is. There's no way for France to deal with this. He's going to need some sort of big pop, and he's going to need it quickly.
where goons, I mean, there's only 5. That's not nearly enough. They're
No.
going to get focused by these skirms. But does Ezad have skirm reinforcements? I think he needs skirm reinforcements here. This is not enough skirms.
He does.
He needs
But
probably
I mean,
just 10
how does
more. Oh, wait, they're
how does
coming
the
here.
current French army kill 6 war wagons? That's my question. He doesn't have near enough skirms to
War
efficiently
wagons, I
take
think,
out
are
these
very
war
useless
wagons.
units. Like
Really?
in this matchup, yeah. You
Oh, that's
only need war
blasphemy.
wagons to deal with. There's a raid.
Auftrag.
Sorry, what?
There is?
No.
Where?
I didn't quite hear what you said.
No, I said that's blasphemy. You're saying war wagons are ineffective in
They're
this matchup?
only useful against curs, and in a skirm goon kind of mirror, war wagons are just very, very ineffective because they
But,
don't
I mean,
have
isn't-
range resist.
Isn't only being useful against curs a pretty damn big thing? I mean, curs are absolutely insane, and if you can effectively neutralize them, I mean, that almost makes them worth their cost alone.
Yeah. This is an interesting drag box for Germany. I mean, he's just taking all his units. I think all of his APM is being used up here. Oh, he might get a CDB here. That is pretty huge. Another small group of Ulans. I mean, I think Ezad here is now playing out of his mind, right? He really wants this win. He's splitting 2 Ulans here, 2 Ulans there, buying time. He wants, I think, just a couple more batches, maybe get Cav Combat in, and Cav Combat Ulans will destroy anything. Oh, but no, never mind. This is his timing. He's decided.
Oh my
He's going in
god,
now.
that massive
There's
Ulans
not
is
enough.
just... And oh, we're going to see the effectiveness of the war wagons here. Look at that, taking out 1 cur in a single shot. Beautiful. The Ulans just not allowing the skirms to breathe for a single second. And the Dragoons not going to be placed very well. They're going to go right into the fire of the skirmishers. The 5 pikes, sit down, son. And this is going to be an amazing fight for Germany. CDBs are going to get pulled. Minutemen going to get pulled. More skirmishers in the back. And I don't know if Germany keeps pushing here. He's already done a lot of damage. Maybe wait for those Minutemen to degrade, but it looks like he's going to go for the kill here. Nope, he is going to pull back.
Yeah, take some snipes here, exactly. Get like some CDBs on the way out, and then don't sack your army. Because CDB pulls are just so annoying. They're actually not the most effective against Germany because look at these guys, 42 hand attack and a cheap cav. So as they're in the front line, they can do a lot of damage. But here, 2 Falconets coming out. I don't know about this. I mean, what are you going to do against this much cav? You have 7 war wagons, which I think almost one-shot a Falc. So that'll be quite these Falcs are going to be quite ineffective unless he can get a massive mass of goons and curs as a body block. But
Are
now
you saying,
cavalry combat coming in for Germany, and this I think is going to be the end of the game here. France will never be able to take a good fight.
Are you saying in this current moment those war wagons are going to prove useful?
They are going to be useful against Falcs. I guarantee. Yeah, that is they are going to be useful there. But my point was just that in a skirm goon mirror, like war wagons just you can't kite with them really.
Well,
in the sense
yeah,
that,
I mean,
like they have to stand still and kind of shoot, and then maybe move a little bit, just because they take so
look it
much
up.
time to turn around. But okay, let's focus on this fight here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just over.
no, it doesn't even happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, man.
look at this
No,
mass.
I-
Cav combat, everything.
I completely understand what you're saying, and please take the opinions of a 1400 Dutch main with a massive grain of salt. But wow, Ezad pulling out what looked to be a really, really well-deserved win there. I mean, he outplayed Frontline. Basically, I mean, Frontline did have the better H1, but after that, Ezad just was a little bit crisper the entire way.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see how Ezad managed to pull this back, because I tend to struggle a lot when I lose my Explorer in Age 1, and you really can't, in my opinion, go for cavalry. You have to look for an imbalance, because if you go cav against a French's Hussar Semi, after you take such bad trades in Age 1, like losing your Explorer for basically nothing, losing... I mean, also, like, France getting probably the best Age 1 they could have hoped for, right? With, like, a 209 1210, you really can't be fighting them on their terms, like with Huss on Huss. So I think he made the perfect decision there, going into pikes, causing a little bit of an imbalance, throwing Frontline off his game plan a little bit, and then just pulling out with some very, very good macro, I think, throughout this game.
Well, I'm looking at the chat, and I think the message from Nanosnake says it best. That Bo Pike did a lot of work, and it certainly did. I mean, that layered with the transition into the Kree, which gave him that boost in his economy. That was just that was such an excellent trade, and it didn't look like it because so many pikes were dying. But when you consider the fact that they were killing, Age 3 veteran curves, which are worth 300 resources a pop, the trade actually was very effective.
Very, very effective. I think Frontline didn't need to take that first fight. He knew that Ezad was staying longer in H2, so he might have been able to wait for his second H3 shipment before taking a fight and then just cleaning him up. Because, as I said, like these bows and pikes, once you have large enough H3 armies, they're pretty ineffective. Like they're just there to basically tank some damage. They're not gonna DPS a lot. They're very hard to, I think, micro properly with a skirmass because the bows tend to just kind of move out to the front and die very quickly. So yeah, overall, I think there's a couple mistakes from Frontline, but very, very well played Germany game. And I think I have a lot to learn just from watching this from Ezad's play. So very happy to have seen that.
Yeah.
Someone in chat saying reverse sweep. Will we see that? I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I got all night, so I'm here for it. But of course, you've already done a series, Baron. Man, you've been putting hours. The man, the Iron Man, dude. Production, casting. What don't you do?
I don't play the game right now. Honestly, I haven't been on the ladder in a while. But okay, we do have our Civ picks in here. We have Frontline picking Otto and Ezad picking Spain. So let me see who the counter picks are. So I mean, in game 1 was blind pick. Game 2, Ezad counter picked. Game 3, Frontline counter picked. Game 4, Ezad counter picked. So this game, Frontline counter picked Otto into Spain, which I think I do like. I think Otto is slightly favored in this matchup. And Otto is just such an easy Civ to play. I think it's always a good tournament pick. Just because it's harder to mess up. And your opponent is always stressed, like, oh, what's going to happen next? Are they going to randomly go H4 on me? Are they going to Are they going to pop Spahi? Are they going to pop like 12 Abyss? I don't know. Like there's so many things that Otto can just kind of pull out of nowhere. And they have some crazy, crazy timings that even a Civ like Spain that has one of the best FFs in the game often struggle with.
Yeah. I think one of the big problems for Spain is just the Ottoman composition just counters what they do in H3 so well. I mean, from all the games I've seen at the high level, if you go like Lancer versus Ottoman, I mean, you basically get no work done because Janissaries and Abyss guns just shoot down your Lancers immediately. But if you go for, Rod Skirm, it gets countered by, Janissary Abyss. So Ottoman, certainly a good counter pick here, but Ezad looking sharp. I really am hoping that this series gets extended here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think there's definitely chances. I wonder if Frontline will go for a double Rax Jan Rush. I think it can do well against Spain, especially on this map, which I don't think have the best hunt situation. So we're on Sud.
Yep.
Right, yeah. So it doesn't have the best hunts. There's a chance I think a double Rax Jan Rush can work. Then if Spain gets into H3, Skirm Lancer is the composition that you want against Otto's H2, right? Because the Skirms kind of pick off the Jans and the Lancers can get on Abyss, they can get on everything. So otherwise, I think in an H3 mirror or like an FF mirror, I agree with you. I think Lancers are not... You definitely don't really want to be making Lancers, and you really only want to ship Lancers in certain timings, I think. Otherwise, they're very ineffective against such tanky Jans and so much.
I mean, they're a controversial unit, right? Like you ask 10 Spain mains, and like 5 of them are going to say, I use Lancers every game, and 5 are going to say, I go Rod Falk every game. They're just one of those units that people haven't really made a decision on, but I think we've got game 5 loaded up. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's go right in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for another match point game in the final round of 8. Ezad versus Frontline on the western half of the map. This is Sud. We have Frontline playing in the blue as Ottomans, and in the northeast half of the map playing in the color red as the Spanish. We do have Ezad, who is holding on for dear life. And this is going to be the make or break game for him. This could decide who is going to enter the Final Four with Phoenix and Kurterboy and Haza. So like you were saying, Baron, this is a fairly kind of spread hunt map. I don't know if it's a low hunt map, but a lot of your food is in the middle. And so Ottoman going for that double Rax Jan Rush could secure a lot of that hunt and squeeze Spain out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, there's good placement potential for these double Raxes. Like, they can go here, secure this middle hunt, as you mentioned, and really, they can even go for the second TP in the middle of the map at some point. Don't think this is a good match to stagecoach on because this one is impossible to get. But yeah, there's definitely opportunities for Otto to do a significant damage in H2. I think recently we've seen a couple Jan Rushes in this matchup. I think Phoenix Jan Rushed his opponent in this round, who was can't quite remember who was his opponent. Opti, yes, he Jan Rushed Opti in this exact matchup, and was able to do quite well. So it would be interesting to see it.
I mean, you want to talk about builds that have never not been good?
Yeah, like, there we go. This is a Jan Rush.
The Jan Rush has always been good. It's tried and true. It goes all the way back to 2005, 20 years ago, and with all of the new Age 4 meta, the Sublime Port, the water play, you still have the double Rax Jan Rush, which, as you've said, Spain not having that great early skirm option, they are going to struggle. I mean, do they have any options on this map? They do have the Sudanese.
Well, I think Spain just FFs through the timing and then just tries to ship 7 Raws in transition in this matchup. You don't want to be playing this in H2. I mean, making bows is just not the way to go, I think. But
do you see anybody going for like Red Sea trade, for example, with Sudanese, or not?
This is so expensive, right? So essentially, if this is the only thing that you're getting early game, if this is the only tech you're getting from the native post, it's 200 wood, 250 food, 150 coin, or if you auto build it, I guess it's 350 food, 100 wood, and a 150 coin just to get 2 of these racks, which is just not worth it. But maybe if you were, but wait a second. What is it? Frontline is building it. So maybe
what is he going for this early?
I mean, he has he actually just has the wood. So what did he ship?
I guess so.
Yeah, so he shipped capitalisms and three Yoriks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought for a second like he had all that wood because I thought maybe he's going for like a Sublime Port build, but that would be way too early. Have you seen that card?
Yeah.
It gives Ottoman like 3. Oh my god.
Yeah, we love the stack 6,000 wood and then ship 7,000 wood after it. That's the classic shake water boom.
I think it's I was just gonna say I think it's pretty much exclusive to water maps, but I don't see a forward villager here yet for Ottoman, which is actually kind of a surprise. I thought we were locked in for a double Rax Jan Rush, or at least a Jan Abbas Rush. I guess not. He's just going to be getting it from the.
Yeah, exactly. Send these forward.
Okay. I mean, that's a good alternative to wasting the Vil walking time and the gathering time.
Yeah. And look at this. He doesn't need to ship 700 wood. He just ships 700 coin first. And that will... I thought these would pop in the native TP, honestly. So this is... I didn't realize it popped in
maybe not as good as we thought. This
so
is,
then he has to walk all the way forward. And this is a bit slower now. I mean...
Yeah...
Go ahead.
Baron, tell me if I'm wrong. Does this not just feel a little bit? I don't know. Is the word sloppy from Frontline? I'm not really understanding what he's going for here. It does look like the Raxes are finally coming down, but those could have been down significantly earlier if he had just sent a Vil forward.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think this is the greatest tech in terms of like resource value, but. I don't know, maybe he knows something I don't. I'm sure he's practiced this build many times. And he's actually getting steel traps quite early. So maybe that is one of the benefits of this. Because this tech, I think, costed food and coin, he actually had some wood left over from the 400 wood that he aged up with. And now he's going for a pretty aggressive timing. I mean, usually you'd ship Delhi after 700 food as your 3rd or 4th shipment. So the classic Jan Rush, I think, is 700 coins, 700 wood, 700 food, and then 3 Delhi, or some other combination of those cards.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is Ezad going dervishes here?
What is going on?
He's got a trading post. He's got a trading post in the north. Maybe. I mean, they are good against heavy infantry. Are they going to be a better? I don't know if they're going to be a better alternative to muskets, but okay.
No, he's making units. Hold on, I don't like this is the. So he's playing H2 now. He's okay. One build going down. Two vills really running for their lives now. The Spanish Explorer getting one extra dog out. Vills running for their lives away from the Jans. And he's not going to be able to finish this patch. This is a 2-batch of Musk. This is why Spain doesn't want to play this in H2, I feel like. You just want to just H up as fast as you can because your units are just worse than autos. Like, Musketeers lose to Janissaries. Janissaries are just too tanky.
Right.
And he's going to be able to, like, he has better shipments as well, auto, compared to Spain.
Oh, and shipping rods? That's
another build going down. Look at the splitting from Frontline. Everybody's sieging except that one Jan to finish off that low HP build. He's gonna be able to siege this Rax. Another one batch of Musk. Like, what are you gonna do with 3 Musketeers against 15 Jans and Delhi on the way as well? Where did the Delhi
He
go?
still has Minutemen. He still has Minutemen. He's got 7 rods on the way. No. Oh.
This is an unfortunate end, I guess. This is but
rough. Damn. I really wanted to see Sudanese dervishes as a response. I thought that's what he was going for with the trading post. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't scout the double racks. Oh, he didn't scout the double racks. That's why.
Nice.
Oh no, that's very unfortunate. But I mean, from this deck, like from Frontline's deck, he should have kind of inferred that there was this. I mean, why else would you have 600 and 700 food?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess yeah, this is tough.
Wow.
But I mean, well played to both players. I think game 3 was especially just. I mean, game 2 the India Mirror, or sorry, game 3 the India Mirror, and game 4 Germany versus France. Those two were phenomenal games. I was very
absolutely
happy to see that. But let's head back into the home screen and see if Frontline wants to come in for a quick little interview.
Yeah, we officially have the final 4 players of the tournament now confirmed. So next week, I think we're going to be seeing Frontline versus Haza. I think that's going to be an incredible matchup. And we have Keterboy versus Phoenix. So, I mean, we have 2 amazing sets of games, you know, incoming. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited for this final 4. I think it's going to be great.
Yes, should be very, very fun to watch. So let's hop down to Team Games 1, the voice chat, because Frontline's waiting for us there for a quick, like, 1-minute interview.
Sure.
Hello? Hello. Let's just wait for Mr. V real quick. All right. Congratulations, Frontline. How did you feel? Like, do you have any, like, general thoughts about that series?
Well, thank you. It was a couple crazy games. I'm very happy it turned out the way it did, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I got. Go ahead, Baron.
Oh, sorry. That India game I was very impressed by. I mean, I thought you were behind quite significantly throughout that game in terms of the economy, but getting those really, really great raids and really pulling that back. I mean, what was going on in your mind during that game?
Yeah, so I wanted to beat him to age 4, but he had a way faster timing. Like, I wasn't even close to aging when he hit age 4. So I figured the only thing I can do is run around the map and try to negate his advantage, because if his army is chasing me, it's not getting much value. And then I had a couple really nice pops with elephants and stuff that turned the battles.
Yeah, I thought in that match you just had very good positioning with your units and was able to kind of like out-position his units and maybe out-micro a little bit and just take good fights and not really lose your mass in any of those confrontations. But yeah, very, very.
I gotta ask Frontline, because you know you were in the driver's seat pretty much the entire series, and then game 4 again. You know, you had a really awesome age 1. You were able to pick off his explorer before he got a TP down, and then the bow pike kind of seemed to put you on the back foot. What was your thought process in that 4th game?
I really did like the opening. I wanted to start Cav because I knew he was behind, and he didn't have a TP, so I didn't need to siege at all. And the first couple engagements felt very good, and then everything just kind of fell apart. I think I pushed too far, and it ended up catching out my muskets. And when I got to age 3, I just didn't have the mass to counter push the way I wanted to. And after I ran out of hunts, it was kind of just game over.
Baron, you got one more?
Make
it an even 3?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been told to keep these short and simple, so I think we might just end it here. But thank you very much, Frontline, for a great series. Congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck in next series. I mean, keeping NA alive in this tournament once again.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, Soldier got knocked out, but you were able to stand strong for NA. Wish you the best of luck in the semifinals. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. And that'll be it for us today, I guess. Mr. V, do you have any
Yeah.
closing comments? Otherwise, we will see you next week. The stream schedule will be coming out shortly.
Yep.
And we have, I mean, as we mentioned, 2 very exciting series for you all.
Yeah, no, I don't have any extra thoughts. Just a great set of games. I think, it being a 5-game series is a bit deceptive because at least 3 of those games I thought were really good. I liked the Port, Hodenosaunee. I loved the India Mirror, and that France-Germany was also, really entertaining as well. So great set of games, and pleasure as always, Baron, to cast with you. Thanks to everybody in the chat for sticking with us. 250 viewers for, more of a later casted series. Really awesome to see.
Yeah, I think we hit like 350 or something in the middle as well. So yeah, well, thank you all, and we'll see you all next week for the semifinals. We're really heating up. The tournament is about to come to its, I guess, the pinnacle. So